Good morning, Raptor Freaks. Lexi Outs here, and we're reacting to a Game 3 victory for the Toronto Raptors at Scotiabank Arena last night. It was an epic game in the history of the Raptors franchise. It was a nice end to a long winning streak of the Cavs in the playoffs against us. It was a coming out party for Scottie Barnes and, in a way, RJ Barrett also, and Colin Murray Boils. And I'll tell you what, just like a lot of people that were there in the arena for it, the people at home across the country, around the world for it, watching it on TV, we were all here for it because it was special. It was awesome. It was fun. And, a lot of the things that I thought would happen happened, which is awesome. I love that. The crowd really did come out and do a very good job. The fantastic arena crowd at Scotiabank Arena was a huge factor in this game, and they all said that afterwards. Scotty, Jameson, Colin, RJ, Darko, they all said that the crowd came through really big time, and well, they expect us to come through on Sunday also at 1 p.m. at Scotiabank Arena. That's right. Yeah. Yeah. Kudos to the crowd. Thank you for showing up, getting loud, and being loud from the start through to the end. There were times where it seemed like y'all were missing at the beginning of the third quarter after halftime, but for the most part, y'all were there. And we had a lot of celebrities in the crowd too. It was kind of cool. A lot of different people sitting at different places around the court watching the game that were important people in Toronto sports watching there, like Vlad Guerrero Jr., Adonis. Adonis was sitting in Drake's seat at the beginning of the game. If I don't know if you noticed that. Of course, Larry Tannenbaum and his wife have been sitting courtside for almost every single Raptor game in the last month or so. He has been in Cleveland for both the games there. He was there last night, and he was at a lot of the games at the end of the season too. Very much taking a center court front row seat. Larry Tannenbaum being there also. Of course, we saw Scotty's mom and Scotty's Scotty's lady, Alyssa, sitting together at the end of the court. Scotty embracing his mother after the game. Of course, we see the footage of RJ's parents, Rowan Barrett Sr. and his mother, just beaming with pride for RJ and his accomplishments last night. And then we saw, and this is the Raptors Toronto Tempo Redditor of the day. We saw Marina Mabrey sitting down at the end of the court with Nab Bhatia and his seats down at that end of the court. And that was pretty cool to see Toronto Tempo's $1 million players showing up and sitting at courtside, along with Slim and Kia Nurse were also at the game. But a lot more of the Tempo players were actually there. They just didn't show them all. But like a lot of the team were actually there. But yeah, immediate funny. You are the Toronto Tempo Redditor of the day for posting Marina Mabrey and Nab Bhatia at the Cavs Raptors Game 3 footage on Reddit. Thank you for posting that. Yeah, it's fun. She got to put on Nab's championship ring, which was kind of cool. But yeah, it was a star-studded affair. All kinds of people around there. TFC players. It was just awesome. And they're just all around the court, sitting all over the place. Yeah. The Cavs are a very talented team. The Cavs are an experienced team. The Cavs are a lot of things, but they're not necessarily a better team than the Raptors. And I've been saying this. The way that the first two games went down, it's really kind of like you're a rookie, you're in jitters. You don't know exactly what this situation is like, and you have to get the feel for your feet on the ground with that situation. And having a friendly confines and the home crowd and the all the energy behind you to push you to go and win, it helps. And hopefully this is part of the snowball that starts. We win this one, we win on Sunday, we even the series, and Game 5 has a whole other tone to it in Cleveland next week. So this is the playoffs. This is the way it works. And as they always say, the team that loses first at home is really when the series starts. But right now we're holding serve, and we made sure not to get swept. And I think a lot of people are breathing a sigh of relief just on that, because in some ways Raptors Nation's been shaky. Some people have been kind of like, oh, I don't really believe in them. Oh, I don't know. I don't know how they're gonna do. I hope they don't get swept. I knew they wouldn't get swept, but I also, just in case something weird happened where they did just kind of fail out of the playoffs, I was like, okay, I'll be ready for that just in case. But I was pretty sure they'd get at least a win, and now they have, as of last night. It's fantastic. All right, let's get right into the reaction. I'm sure there's a lot of that you guys have to say about it. We'll go over the box score. We'll do all the regular Raptor Freak stuff, the classic card, and all the general things that we do on the channel in a reaction stream. And also, if you do have the phone number and you do want to call me on the show, you can call me at a certain point also, if you'd like to do that. All right, let's start. Trevor J's words of wisdom. The biggest skill you can develop is the ability to resist fast, bad conversations. Really? Move on bad days. Start fresh tomorrow. Missed workout. Hit it the next day. Poor decisions. Learn and adjust. You can't control what happens to you, but you can control how long you let it will affect you. This is interesting. This is the biggest skill you can develop is the ability to resist fast, bad conversations. Fast, bad conversations. Like, what is this? I'm trying to figure this out. I used to work at a convenience store, and I'd have to have fast, bad conversations as part of my job because you're only seeing somebody for a second, and sometimes you talk to them, and they're assholes, or sometimes it just doesn't go well, but you have to do it because it's your job. And that's a lot of like customer service kind of jobs. You have to have this. It's not, you don't have any choice in this. So it's like I'm trying to figure this out. Like, would be like maybe you have other people have other jobs, like they have to go door to door to sell something. I bet that would be fast, bad conversations too. Sometimes doors in your face. Get out of here. We don't want any. Click. Stuff like that. I don't know. I'm trying to figure this out. How do you get involved in fast, bad conversations? Maybe you're speed dating a lot. I'm just trying to figure this out. Like, because I wouldn't say people that are doing it on purpose without being at work, they probably would avoid these fast bad conversations. But if you're at work and you can't go nowhere, like you work at a mall and you're in a store and there's just people coming in there over and over again, I mean, that's part of your job, right? Is to have fast bad conversations. I've never heard this term before. Fast bad conversations. I don't understand this. I don't even believe that this is true. Even if you have a bad conversation with somebody, there's a learning experience from it. And it's not a bad conversation just for experience. I don't know. This is a weird one. Either way, blessings to the Jones family and all the Raptor Freak families. Yeah. Yeah. I'm trying to figure this out. Trevor's saying, what a game. Beautiful win. Scotty and RJ and Colin were unstoppable. Yeah, it was one of these situations where I say who contributes more, who has more powerful contributors overall will win the game. And, that none of the Cavs scored over 20 points last night. Not a single one of them. And the last game, Evan and Donovan and James all scored like 25 plus. None of them scored 20 this time. And there was no little side quest where Max Strus is going crazy and scoring a whole bunch of points too, although he did score some. But, that's the whole thing. You want your team output, your team contributions, your strong performances to be stronger than the other team's performances. And Donovan Mitchell, after the game, gave a lot of credit to the Raptors for coming at them aggressively with strength and coming downhill at them and messing them up. And it said, this is basketball. This is the way things go sometimes. Some games, your team's the aggressor. Some days, the other team's the aggressor. And the Raptors were the aggressors. The Raptors were the ones that took it to them. And I feel like Scotty did some things in this game last night that hopefully will encourage him and give him confidence to do it more. It's weird. Once again, I feel like we're talking about things on this channel and then magically they're kind of happening later on. And what was the whole thing the last few days that we've been kind of harping on is, Scotty, to be unselfish, you need to be selfish. And Darko said something about in the practice, and Scotty took it to heart. And he actually did be a ball hog. He did carry. He did do a lot of like more forceful things and looking for his own shot. And you see the results in his scoring output. You see the results in how we kept the lead in a close game through most of the game and then busted it open the fourth quarter. You see the results from Scotty keeping them on their toes. And Scotty figured it out. This is what he said after the game. He said, Brandon, it's really Brandon's credit, is what he's saying. I give credit to Brandon Ingram because Brandon Ingram is an epicenter. He's a focus for the other team's defense, obviously. And the gravity he's pulling towards him is allowing lanes for myself and Colin Murray Boils and RJ to drive to the basket and get some of this offense that we're getting right now. This is what I was saying the other day. It's like, because they're going so heavy on Brandon, that's obviously giving y'all something somewhere else that y'all aren't going to mine. And you need to go mine that. It's right there. It's right in your face. They're going to cover up Brandon. They're going to top lock him. They're going to do all that kind of crap. Well, there's always a remedy. There's always an alternative plan to go around whatever's happening on a basketball court. That's the interesting, fun thing about basketball. It's like the snake that eats itself. There's always solutions for strategies and plans for other teams, and that you have to figure out the adjustment. You have to figure out the way to do it. And it's like, well, Scotty, they're going to overcover Brandon Ingram. That means you need to be calling 4 and getting in there and getting really easy baskets down low. And look, man, while you're at it, you practice this enough. Holy crap, you're going to start looking more and more like Antetokounmpo. I'm telling you right now, because look, there's nothing more terrifying to an opposing coach and their team than a full speed Scottie Barnes coming down the court with all the options in the world in front of him, and they have no freaking clue what he might do. There's nothing more terrifying than that, because it's like Giannis. It's like LeBron. It's like that kind of player that has the 3 options to do whatever. It's like take it to the basket, stop and pop, or get it to somebody else. Yeah, there's going to be the right option, Scotty, and you're a cerebral player. You're a student of the game. You want to study what the best winning move is at any millisecond on an NBA court. Well, you're on your way, especially since you're willing to unlock the selfishness, the ability for you to call your own number and be aggressive with it consistently through 4 quarters of a game. Because look, man, you like winning, don't you, Scott? You like winning? I like winning. I felt good last night, didn't it? Well, I'm going to have to tell you, you're going to have to balance this more like this, especially now in the playoffs, more through your career going forward, because you won't be winning as much as you could if you don't do this in this kind of way with these kind of percentages, as far as calling your own number versus distributing to your teammates. Because look, man, don't waste your life. You're sometimes the best call. And it's not a slight to your teammates. And it's not a bag that I'm going to put on you that you're a selfish player. That Scotty's selfish. No, you've really gone above and beyond the other way to show that you are a team player and that you will get everybody involved. Your reputation is fine for that. You could do all kinds of crazy, maniacal, selfish, I'm going to play over and over again and just shoot 50 shots in a row. And nobody would think you're a selfish player still, because you already have the track record in your career up to this point. So, next season, when we play bad teams sometimes, I'd like to see you just go crazy yourself, just for fun, just to flex that muscle, just to practice that. Because that's something you should practice regularly during the season from time to time. Sure, you can have games where you only score like 15 points and you get like 15 plus assists in the regular season too. But I'd rather see you sometimes every once in a while go for like a 40-point game and practice that, because, you practice that during the regular season. You're more ready for it at this season, at this time, because you will have to do this sometimes. Because look, your teammates in some ways, they're great players. We've seen Jamison Battle go above and beyond last night, but they have to be put in situations for that to happen. In some ways, you don't need to be put in any situation. You can make your own situation. You could go do it in any game against any opponent when you want to. It's kind of like that question that William Liu asked RJ Barrett yesterday at practice, which was hilarious. And it's like, it was so funny. William Lou said, RJ, I know it's real hard to get into the paint and get into the paint and get short shots sometimes. RJ's like, no, no, man. No. And I knew I was like, when William said that, I was like, man, what the fuck are you asking him right now? What did you say to RJ that it's hard for him to get inside and get interior shots? Are you watching Raptors basketball, William Lou? Sometimes I gotta wonder. This guy does hello and welcome. He does reaction pods. He travels with the team. He's in the media room. And how the fuck do you make this assumption, William Lou, that RJ Barrett has a hard time getting into the paint to get interior shots? I've never seen this be a problem for him. And when he shook his head like this, I was like, yeah, I was shaking my head with him at home watching the practice interview. Like, what the fuck are you watching, William Lou? When have you ever seen RJ Barrett be denied from going into the paint and doing things that he wants to do? Like, I don't know what basketball, Raptors basketball you're watching that you think that this is something that RJ is not allowed to do or does. This is not braggadocio. This is not ego for RJ or for me as a Raptor freak for my team, the Raptors. This is just the dang truth. That RJ Barrett, has he ever seen forbidden or prohibited or stopped or held out from bullying his way into the basket area and putting up a little left-hand shot over people and taking the time to do it in a very thought-out way so that it is executed and usually goes in? Yeah, I didn't understand this question. So that's what I'm saying, Scott. You could be like RJ too. RJ could give you more tips on how he does it. And all of a sudden, bam, you're locked up. You're unlocked even more. Just like you found out footwork and a couple of things about ball handling from Brandon Ingram this year. Well, you could talk to RJ about the timing, about when to go and burst and do that. And it looks like you already have, because it seems like you're smarter about turning the corner, putting the ball on the floor, putting that first step on the floor and going around people like Jared Allen and Evan Mobley and taking it to the hoop and dunking it or putting it up over them. And that's the thing. I love the determination. I love how close you're getting to the basket. I love how you're muscling it. I know they're grabbing you. I know they're holding you. And I know Pat Frere and Courtney Kirkland and Josh Tibbin ain't going to call all of it. And there's sometimes no glory and no reward for going in there and getting hammered, no call, and then it's just a no call, and they're coming back the other way of the court. But you have to keep doing it, because if you keep doing it, Scott, you're going to finish more and more through contact, just like Shaquille O'Neal, just like LeBron James. Then you're going to get more and ones as the respect catches up with your game, because at some point they're going to recognize exactly how powerful you are, and they're going to start giving you the calls in your career. I just hope, that it comes sooner than later. And that's the thing. You're so powerful. RJ's powerful too. And so is Brandon. You guys have your own powers. But Scotty, you're finding your power even more right now. And once again, we can say Scotty leveled up again. He leveled up and he got another new armor, just like an RPG. He just leveled up and boom, you got this one now. This is a new badge, 2K badge. You just leveled up, Scotty. And it's called Badass, that can do whatever he wants on the court when he wants to. And now he realizes that's the badge you just got last night. And I'm here for it as a Raptors fan. And I want to see a repeat performance. That's right. I'll come down to Scotiabank Arena at 1 p.m. on Sunday, and I'll cheer my defense chants all so loud for the whole game. And I expect you to do something like you did last night again. Yeah, it was beautiful. Beautiful, beautiful. That's right. Unstoppable is the right word. That's right. Trevor's saying, I watched Tempo 2's draft picks, Maria Conde and Kitty Laxka, yesterday, playing in the Italian finals. I see why the Tempo drafted them. Very skilled ball players. Yeah, Maria Conde, Florida State Seminole, like Scotty Barnes, is probably the best European player that has not come over to the WNBA yet. She's a gritty forward that has a lot of physicality and a lot of all-round skill. There's a, big man skill and a cross between that, a hybrid between big man skill and guard skill with Maria. And, she's she may be the best Spanish female player right now. She may be. I don't know how good the male Spanish players are right now. She could be the best Spanish player in general right now. Yeah. Kitty, I want to see Kitty, because I feel like Kitty could be a very good shooter, but I don't know who's going to make this team. And, even though we've got both of these women as rights, doesn't mean they're going to be on the tempo this year, Trevor. Especially the ones that are scraggling, the ones that are not getting over to training camp, because we're doing training camp right now. And this time is valuable. And, Maria's not coming. Not Maria Konde, but Maria Kolendikova, the Russian player we drafted. She's not going to come. We have her rights. We'll keep her rights. But she's already signaling she's going to play in Russian league and rather than come play for the tempo. And, there's a couple of these foreign players that we drafted in the expansion draft to get their rights that are not going to show up. And in some ways, that'll make the decisions for a training camp easier to figure out who we're going to cut, because they would just add more names to the list. So I don't know. Is Kitty Laska is going to be coming? She may be still just playing over Europe, and we keep her rights and she's stashed. And same thing for Maria. Maria's been having draft rights in the WNBA for a few years now and has not came over yet. She's had different teams have had her rights, and we just got them in the expansion draft. But I don't know. I don't know about those two in particular, because it's getting late in the training camp, and we may not actually see them play for us this year, is what I'm saying. Julie's coming for sure. All the signs have shown that Julie Alamont is going to be coming as the MVP of EuroLeague and winning the EuroLeague finals just now with Fenerbahce. She's coming, and Nina should be coming with her. But I have no idea about some of the other ones. Lexi Held should be coming too when she's done in Hungary. But the other two that you watched yesterday, they're fantastic, but there's no guarantees they're even going to get on a plane and come to North America in the next week or so. Because, it's a little bit it's tough. That's why I kind of like that they got a lot of international rights, because, when the players do come and they show up, well, they'll be on our team. And that's awesome. I like that. Trevor's saying this. Now everyone is talking about CMB after watching him play in the playoffs. This is fantastic, because it really does mean this. And Jameson said it in his interview after the game last night that he would be shocked if Colin Murray Boils isn't first team all rookie. And I think that this is true. How many good rookies are in the playoffs right now making wave? He broke a record yesterday. He scored the most points in a playoff game as a rookie in Raptors franchise history. Nobody as a rookie has ever scored this many points in a Raptors playoff game. You can think about Scotty. When he was a rookie, he played in the Philadelphia series. He didn't score as much as Colin scored last night. So there's a lot of interesting things to that. And I think this is true. VJ Edgecombe's still playing meaningful games right now, but Con Knipple and Cooper Flagg are not. And who else is? Derek Queen, he's not playing a meaningful game right now. How many of these rookies are playing meaningful games right now? Okay, Dylan Harper, yeah, he's playing meaningful games still. But Colin Murray Boils, get that attention. And hopefully the voters will look at it and say, yeah, this guy's first team all rookie. I mean, this man's fresh out of the box, right on, strong as an ox. And he's right out there doing it right away, right now. And it's not a change. It's not an adjustment for him to get in the playoffs, because he just plays this way. And he's ready already. It's like, this is business as usual for CMB. The physicality, the confidence, the beyond the years strength and experience and wisdom without even having the years. This is crazy. And we're going to see over the years. I think that a lot of people are feeling like, I had my premonition last summer during Summer League that he's going to be on the next Raptors championship team. I had a vision that Colin Murray Boils was going to be with Larry O'Brien in Toronto. And as this season has gone on, and now here in the playoffs, the evidence is stacking up that vision could very well be true at some point, because, man, there's so many different things that can change with him. I think one of the most impressive things I'm loving with him right now is his patience around the basket when he gets a loose ball or a pass to finish it and make sure he finishes it. Because, look, it's not easy to do, especially as a rookie, with that size and strength, in the playoffs. And he's executing. He's shooting in a crazy percentage right now. His field goal percentage is insane, and this is not normal. A rookie should be to have some failure at first, to have a learning curve, but not this guy. He's like a duck who took the water. He's swimming and paddling all around the lake, and he had no problem floating and swimming, and there's no sinking here. There's no sinking here. That's right. That's right. Trevor's saying Battle when off looks every time he sees Cleveland. What? When off looks? What? He go off on them and get his first chain last night. Oh man, that's awkward. But all right. I'm glad that Darko did this. He did a couple things last night. It's almost like he is listening. And he did a couple adjustments last night, and they completely worked. One of the things we were saying on this channel, don't start Shed again. And he didn't start Shed. And he started Walter. And that was an improvement. And, Shed was still a great player for the team off the bench as the backup point guard, getting 5 steals and doing a bunch of defensive stuff that was really good. In some ways, that is why. In some ways, you don't want to set up Harden and Mitchell to go off in the beginning because they have an easy defensive matchup. And they get going. They never really got going last night, which is good. And that's part of that change. One of the changes was he gave the extra minutes to the mystery player in the rotation to Jamison Battle. And those minutes were going to A.J. Lawson in the first couple games. And I had no problem with that too. But also at the same time, it's kind of like, bro, you used Battle against the Cavs on Halloween in an in-season tournament game where we killed them because of Battle. So why can't we try this again and see if Battle can do this again? And well, he did. He tried it last night. And kudos to the Raptors teammates for finding him and setting him up in really good positions for him to be successful. Yeah, I love it when Battle's dialed in. And they said it they're like, look, he's been staying prepared. Darko said last night that he does extra practice groups. And he's always staying prepared. Scotty said that we count on Jamison because we know he does the work, and he has to be that role player, 3-point shooter specialist coming off the bench when we need him, and he needs to be ready to get him right away. And, well, he came through like that again. And I love it when he's dialed in. It's very overpowering. This game was very toe-to-toe most of the game. And, it was back and forth. I was confident in our team because we were at home. And because we were kind of controlling things, even though they were very close and they jump up and tie or take a lead for a second by 1 point. But then in the fourth quarter, Jamison Battle was this factor to blow the game open, kind of like Max Strus did in game 1 and the third quarter for Cavs. Battle did that for us in the fourth quarter last night because we were running right next to them. And it was a little dangerous. And we needed this boost. We needed this extra juice of Battle just making these threes. And we had an incredible scoring fourth quarter last night. Like we scored over 40 points in the fourth quarter. And in the Eastern Conference playoffs, a 40-point quarter is a big deal because there's not a lot of offense sometimes in the East in the playoffs. So, yeah, and they were upset about that too. Kenny Atkinson and the Cavs players talking after the game about how many points they let happen in the fourth quarter and just how poor their defense was then. Yeah, it was awesome. Battle really found his way with it. He had a almost logo shot from half court at one point. And I love how he stopped and took his little step, got his feet set and made the shot in transition that one time where they dumped it to him to the side. Yeah, it was just really good stuff. Really, really good stuff from Battle. And he was the push to get the margin and a big margin. So no ref manipulation. And the Raptors can ensure a win with that kind of a lead at the end of the game. Yeah, he was a big part of that right there. Yeah, it was really good. Trevor's saying Colin Murray Boils, first Raptors rookie to score 22 points in the playoffs, is the most any rookie has ever scored as a Raptor in a playoff game. Yeah, a lot of rookies don't get in the playoffs as Raptors usually. And if they do, they're not usually such a high draft pick that's such a high aptitude that they can make such a crucial contribution to get that amount of points. So it's the right convergence of a couple of different things for that to happen. Yeah, Naco the Nacho is here. Good morning, Gerald. I hope you're having a fantastic Friday. TGIF. The Raptors won Game 3 last night, my friend. That's right. There was that one play with Scotty that looked an awful lot like the Kawhi shot. Yeah, that was an interesting play. That was a last second shot, and they did staggered screens for Scotty starting at half court, like a terracing of screens going off towards the corner where Kawhi hit the bounce shot over Joel, and it even had a little action on the rim before it dropped through. And yeah, that was fun. It was a little bit of a reminiscent thing. It's always fun when we see these little throwback kind of things that happen on the court, and you're like, oh, that kind of looked like Kawhi's shot. That makes me feel good because it's kind of like you think about Kawhi's shot all of a sudden. But wow, yeah, Scotty wasn't far from that spot on that. And I think the thing that impressed me the most about that is not necessarily the reminiscence of that memory. It's more that Scotty took the opportunity to show that he can hit a buzzer beater and Darko set up a good play for him where they can get it done within that time frame and show capability and execution. That's what I like the most about that play, because that wasn't the easiest play, and it was totally coordinated with the staggered screens that he ran through to get to that spot. Yeah, it was really, really a nicely well done, executed play. Besides the reminiscence right there. Yeah. Trevor's saying we're not going to see that New York guy because his New York Knicks are down 2-1 against the Hawks. Milbester, well, he's banned from the channel at this point. Yeah, I banned him from this channel finally, Trevor, because he was tacky. And I think the last time they beat us in the regular season, he talked mad trash and kind of went too big for his britches. So Milbester is officially banned from the channel. That's why he's not here. It's not because of that. It's more because he's can't come in here now because he messed up and he was not a good winner, is what I'll say. And he came in talking trash and saying all this mess, and I had enough of him. And some of the Raptor freaks were very happy that finally happened. They've been kind of begging for it for years. And, I got sick of the baseball talk. I got sick of, like, in some ways, it's like, yeah, his Knicks are doing pretty good. But, yeah, now they're down 1-2. And, woo-wee, good job, Atlanta Hawks, taking care of business. And you know what? This is the kind of stuff that you live for in the NBA. These teams that are so high and mighty and feel like they're all that in a bag of chips get some humble pie. You got to love that for Knicks Nation, don't you? That's right. Nako's saying, Lex, does this game rank as an all-timer? I mean, it's awesome. Yeah, it is. It's up there. I mean, I would say it's a top 10, one of the greatest playoff wins in the Raptors history. Maybe. I don't know. It's tough. Like, we'd have to look at them all and kind of rank them. But it is an important game. It's a very important game because, first of all, it's Darko's first ever playoff win. Second of all, it's the first playoff win in the Scotty era. That's really the Scotty era. And it's the beginning of more to come. And that's the fun thing about it. In some ways, we needed to bust through that wall. We needed to break through and get this and feel this. And we didn't even play that well yesterday. Like, we still did all the dumb stuff we do, like miss free throws and have careless kind of dumb fouls and allowing way too many offensive rebounds. That was really annoying. The fact that the Cavs would get third and fourth chance shots, and we do a lot of work on defense. We'd cover them up real nice, and then they keep getting rebounds. Like Dean Wade was tracking them down and going grabbing them and giving them extra shots. That was really super annoying, and that is definitely something we could clean up and do way better at. It's like Scotty said after the game, it's like we played good tonight, but we didn't play good at all in some ways too, and we have so much more potential to get better just from cleaning up some shit that's just stupid. In some ways, it's like, look, we could have lost last night because of stupid things like missed free throws and allowing too many offensive boards for the Cavs, but we didn't. And in some ways, it shows it's like, yeah, you don't have to play exactly perfect, but you have to play better than the other team to win in the NBA. And, every game's a snowflake. Like I said, it comes out different. And the story for us wasn't totally pretty. All those missed free throws in the first half were disgusting, and they were bugging the hell out of me. But just win is what I say to my friend Steve on game days and the text, and that's all we want. We just want to find a way to win. It doesn't have to be pretty. And if you can get that win and it looks pretty, that's even better, though. There was some stuff to this game that made it a very pretty game. We shot – this is a crazy thing. We shot the same from the free throw line as the field goal percentage, but the three-point percentage was higher than both. So our highest percentage for the game last night was from three. And, you got to give a lot of credit RJ Barrett for that. A lot of credit. Monique is here. Super fan Mo is here in the chat this morning after a great night last night. She's saying, I'm still processing this win. We did it. Wow. I'm extremely happy. Pinching myself. Stars of the game, team effort, Jameson fucking battle, RJ fucking Barrett, Scotty fucking Barnes. Absolutely amazing atmosphere and everything. Yeah. Monique went to the game last night and she met Kiki Rice. Yeah. Isn't that cool, y'all? She posted a picture last night with our draft pick for the Toronto Tempo, the first ever draft pick in the history of the Toronto Tempo. Yeah, that's cool. Kiki was nice. She was cool. You got to kick it with her a little bit, talk to her a little bit. That's fantastic. Mo, I'm so happy I could help you get to the game last night. Seriously, this is something that needed to happen. In some ways, I feel like because I was able to help you, that, you helped a lot to help them win last night. So I appreciate you so much, Superfan Mo, and you making the effort to get down there and get your spirit and energy down there to help root them on the right way. Hand me that baton. I'll go take care of game 4 for us. All right. I'll be there Sunday. Make sure that we get as loud as possible at 1 p.m. It ain't going to be no early start when Lex is there, because I'm going to be coming in there like it's 7 p.m., 8 p.m. Eastern. That's right. I'm going to be coming in there like that. That's right. We're going to do the stars of the game in just a second. Seymour Pape is here. The sheriff, Seymour Pape, kicking it out in Calgary in the warehouse with the basket hoop, shooting the baskets at work. Okay, good morning. Happy Friday. Wishing all a blessed weekend. Let's do it all again for game 4. Yeah, this is the thing, y'all. Once you figure it out and how you can do it, well, do it again. And in some ways, once you bust open a series, unless that other team figures out some adjustments and plans to try and do things, I think that y'all could replicate a lot of what you're doing, because some of what y'all are doing is pure brute strength. And that comes from Murray-Boyles. That comes from Barnes. That comes from Barrett. And these guys are, taking it to them. And that's what it is. In some ways, we want to be the aggressors. We don't want to be the ones standing around watching them do stuff. We want to be the guys that are doing stuff to them like we did last night. And in some ways, Colin Murray Boils, the way he comes packaged as a rookie coming in this league, he just comes pre-installed with all this stuff in him. Like he's a program you bought at the computer store. And it's like, wow, look at all these great additional things with this computer program I got, honey. Wow, it really runs smooth right from the start. It really knows everything that I want to ask it already. Yeah, it's above average and a little bit ahead as an NBA rookie. Yeah, that program called CMB. Yeah. And that in some ways, the style that he plays is like so physical. And once again, he's an undersized guy that plays so physical and has an elevator that jumps up. I'm sorry, he's Charles Barkley. And every time he comes into the press conference after the game wearing a hood over his head where I can't see his hair, I'm like, man, this guy looks like young Barkley with his little mustache and the way his head's shaped and his eyes. Yeah, there's so much Charles Barkley in Colin Murray Boils. And I wish people, newer fans, understood who Charles was when he played and his signature. There's so much in there. And in some ways, I'm thinking, look, the offensive potentials of Murray-Boyles may not be exactly Charles Barkley, but they're maybe closer to Charles Barkley than you think as he develops his offensive game and starts realizing how powerful he can be. Because we're seeing it right now. He's getting the ball in no man's land. He's getting the ball about 10, 12 feet away from the basket. And what's he doing? Because Jared Allen's standing over there. He's not coming up on him. He's not respecting him. So it's either like a little teardrop where he's making those like crazy, a little floater like Jakob would, or he's putting the ball on the floor and he's taking it to the hoop real strong and nobody's stopping him. That's what I'm saying, man. This is Barkley shit. This is the kind of shit Barkley did like 30 years ago, y'all. 40 years ago. This is what he was doing, youngsters. He wasn't just a bald-headed man talking crazy with Shaquille O'Neal and Ernie Johnson. This man played too. And in some ways, the reverberations of Charles Barkley is like there's a new version in Colin Murray Boils out right now. Yeah, because it's an undersized strength that is the biggest shared characteristic. You got a guy who's 6'7", who shouldn't be doing this muscling around and throwing people around like this. Well, you can go ask Dikembe Mutombo. Well, He would tell you Charles Barkley muscle and throw me around like I'm nothing. And I'm outweighing him by crazy. It's like it's just a crazy innate strength that is, I don't know, it's unexplainable. I don't know how he has it. And in some ways, Barkley was like that, especially because Barkley was a big fat guy and he could jump like crazy. He had no tether to the ground with gravity. He could get up there. It's crazy, man. Crazy, crazy good. Crazy good. Trevor's saying this. I'm going up to Cleveland on Monday. My family has tickets for me to go see the Raptors in Cleveland Game 5. That's a crucial game. All right. We're getting things covered up here. Monique took care of last night. I'm going to take care of Sunday. And Trevor J is going to go to Cleveland on Game 5. Okay, I like this. We're getting the RFF all organized for this, to do this right. This is awesome. Salute to Trevor J for making the trip from Fort Lauderdale to Cleveland for next week for Game 5 for the Raptors. That's right. Bring a rowdy Raptor Freak crew. Trevor J, please, sir, please. Mo's saying, thank you, Kiki. Awesome to meet her. Yeah, that's so cool. And I wonder about those tempo players and seeing that atmosphere there. What do you think now, Marina Mabry? What do you think now, Brittany Sykes? What do you think now, Kiki Rice? You've seen how Toronto comes out for basketball at the Scotiabank Arena last night. You've seen the energy. You've seen the passion. You've seen the dedication. You've seen how the culture in the 416 is for the basketball. Well, you ladies better expect this to a degree for you at Coca-Cola Coliseum. This is the one thing. You can sit there with Nab Bhatia at the end of the court, Marina Mabry, and look at how filled out Scotiabank Arena was last night. You can listen to the fans sing the Canadian anthem with Doug Tranquata. You can feel the energy in the building of the people outside in Jurassic Park yelling and screaming out there too, and understand that your team is going to get to play in that arena too this year on select dates. And we're going to pack it out for y'all too. And we're going to get crazy loud for y'all too in that arena. So that's just a preview to come, Toronto Tempo players, that you are now in one of the hotbeds of basketball passion and culture called Toronto, Ontario, Canada. Yeah, you got a first chance taste there to see it and feel it and be right in the middle of it yesterday. Yeah, get to watch legends like James Harden and Donovan Mitchell go up against that, Marina Mabry. Yeah, did you have fun watching it? Watching it with Nab Bhatia? I saw you were getting lots of snacks at the end of the court there. Marina was eating. She was eating. She was down there eating. It was awesome. Isaac got me on blast. That's right. It's the Raptor Freak. It's 9:30, and it's time for the Raptor Freak to do his thing for a couple hours in the morning. That's right. 5 years straight in September. When we get to September, it'll be 5-year anniversary of this show being on every day. Every day. That's right. Tomorrow, we're going to do our WNBA fantasy draft live on this channel. I hope you'll tune in just for fun and hijinks to see how the picks go down in the chat. So we'll have a special Saturday Share the Love for fantasy WNBA. And the 10 teams will be drafting live on this channel, and you'll get to see the fun happen on the show. That's what's going on. Yeah. Monique is saying credit the coaching staff, man. Yeah, some good adjustments. Darko, you're listening. There was one thing that I had a little bit of a problem with in the middle of the game, and some people showed it too, and they talked about it a little bit on the broadcast. Yeah, with Alvin Williams. Yeah, there, that one point in the game where RJ was just going crazy. He was scoring like madman, just going back and forth and scoring like a lot. And then Darko took him out, and it was kind of like, whoa, we got to ride the hot hand. But in some ways, it's like, that is really a philosophical debate inside the coach's head. Do I go with my standard rotation, which safeguards the players from overexhausting themselves because this is how long they need to be out there and I got to pull them out for getting a rest? Or do I ride that hot hand and I disregard taking them out at certain points when I would normally do this in the regular season, but I want to ride the hot hand? It's the playoffs, and this is special. And this isn't like that. And you just got to go for it because this is how it is. That's a tough thing to balance. And that's something that a coach has to think about very deeply and very, very strongly on. Because like two guys yesterday at certain points, you could have argued, don't take these guys out. Don't take Scotty out. No, don't take Scotty out if he's moving like this. No. What are you doing, Darko? Don't put Scotty out. And Scotty got mad at one point because he took him out. He's like, man, don't take me out. I'm going strong. But Scotty, you have foul trouble, and I'm thinking about keeping you fresh for the whole rest of the game. It's sometimes the player is not the best person to be like this. No, waving them off. No, don't take me out. Don't take me out. You see me. I'm doing this. Don't take me out. No, sometimes they're not the best person to gauge this. And this is why we have Dr. Alex McKechnie. And he has to tell Emmanuel quickly, yeah, your hamstring's not good enough. You can't play right now. Because Emmanuel would just say, I can play, Darko. I can play. I can play. But the medical staff looked at it and they don't think you can play. But I can play, Darko. No, the player's not going to be a good judge of this. Player's not going to be a good judge of this. So, like, there is a little bit of a line you got to walk with riding the hot hand or running your rotation and thinking about fatigue. And, that's a tough balance. This whole season, Darko has been very disciplined by doing the rotation and not going with the hot hand philosophy at all. But there's a little bit of wiggle room last night in the way he did things. Now, one of the factors was Scotty was limited at times out there because of the early foul trouble. And him and Brandon both had like 3 fouls in the first half. Brandon stayed out there and he got a 4th foul, and that was bad. Scotty's played out there for a while, but played smart and didn't collect the 4th foul. But that was something that could have been a big, huge problem later. Scotty gets in more foul trouble. We need him to close the game. You're talking about Darko's coaching decisions, Monique. I thought it was really smart that, once again, sometimes Brandon can be very much a plus player for us, a player that's absolutely helping us win, but he can also be a detriment. He can definitely be somebody that is causing us to lose and fail because of turnovers or just lackadaisical weird play. And all of a sudden, it's like, yeah, we're hurting because of him instead of like helping because of him. And it takes a lot of guts for Darko to pivot away from Brandon later in the game and not play him in very crucial minutes and go heavier on Barrett and Barnes instead. Because in some ways that's another thing where you say, well, a rotation is normally this, and we take this guy out here, but hey, maybe I don't need to do that because RJ's hot right now. Leave him out there. Brandon's not exactly doing great yet still either. Right now, he's doing some things to be helpful, but let's minimize the damage and the possibilities, and maybe we won't play him as heavy in the second half later, and we'll ride Barnes and Barrett more. There's nothing wrong with doing this. Every night, there's going to be different guys that have it or don't have it. And right now, unfortunately, this series so far, Brandon has not had it. So do you just run into the wall, you head first over and over again, knock yourself out just to try and force something to happen? No, you got to go away from it a little bit. Maybe let them forget about it and go beat them up in another area with Barnes. That's what you do. And then when they recalibrate and they adjust back to trying to deal with Scotty being the force he is, then you sneak Brandon back out there and you do the things with Ingram that you wanted to do originally that you couldn't because they top blocked him and covered him up so well. So, that there's nothing wrong with this. And Brandon's smiling at the end, at the bench, at the end of the game, just like everybody else, even if he wasn't, the guy or the man or one of the main guys that did what they did last night. Tough coaching decisions for sure. Superfan Mo. Tough coaching decisions for sure. And honestly, I think that in some ways last night you score one for Darko and saying, yeah, he can be a playoff coach. He can do adjustments. And look at how he got his team organized and ready for this game. And they even were beating themselves, but they still beat the Cavs because they couldn't make free throws and they were still doing dumb stuff that totally could be polished up. And they could be playing way better even still beyond what they did last night. So, yeah, G saying this, Barnes, Barrett, Boils, and battle, the killer BBBs, the killer Bs, Barnes, Barrett, Boils, and battle. Yeah, that's kind of like what my stars of the game were. Let's go ahead and start it. My number one star of the game last night is Scotty. I have to recognize the 3-pronged contributions of Scotty Barnes last night, and that's what they were talking about last night. How does he do this? He shuts down Harden and Mobley and Mitchell, and he still goes and gets 33 points on 11 of 17 shooting, and he distributes the ball for 11 assists also. with only 1 turnover. 11-1 assist to turnover ratio for Scotty. 33 points on 11 of 17 shooting, 3 of 5 at the 3-point line. This is like dominating and doing things at a high level in 3 different categories, all at the same time on the court. Scotty, this is all NBA first team shit. What you did last night was an all NBA first team kind of performance. You were absolutely the best player on the court last night. RJ's a very close second, but you were absolutely, because how the hell did you do this, Scott? Did you clone yourself before the game so there were like 3 of y'all out there and we just didn't see them because they were moving so fast it looked like there was only 1 of you? Because how did you guard those Hall of Famers up? How did you go get your own points? And how did you balance it with getting your teammates involved and still getting 11 dimes with 1 turnover? Man, this is what I'm saying, Scott. This kind of stat line is the stuff of the Joker. This is the stat line of the Greek Freak. This is the stat line of some of the greatest players that ever played in this league. This is this kind of stuff. Can you do this consistently? That's what we want to see. 8 of 10 at the free throw line. He did have a part in some of the ugly free throw misses. He had 5 rebounds too. 1 steal and 1 block, a plus 23 for Scotty Barnes. Number 4 for Toronto Raptors, 2-time All-Star, and soon to be a defensive team player, first team defense. Get it right, voters. That's right. My second star of the game for last night is the one who wears the 9 for the city and comes from the 905 and comes for the 416 and stands for his city. The emotions run high. The sleep is deprived. It doesn't matter. His friends and family are there. His grandmother's rooting him on, and he's out there doing it for all of us, doing it for our country, doing it for our city. And who the fuck said he's a toxic asset? Who the fuck said that his contract isn't worth it? Who the fuck said that OG Anunoby trade was won by New York? Nobody should be saying any of that because the jury's still out. And Emmanuel will come back and get healthy, and we're going to see more and more all of the lies that they have said about Rowan Barrett Jr., all of the bullshit that people have been hyping up and saying, no, listen, I've been calling this man the truth in the last couple years. Forget about Paul Pierce. The truth is RJ Barrett. And y'all can write and say all this crap about his contract, his extension, his toxic asset, his inefficiency, his lack of defense, and it's all horse crap. Because right now, you can watch that game last night. You tell me what RJ Barrett does for the Toronto Raptors. And you tell me if you don't want that on your team. Because I'll tell you right now, the script has been flipped on Reddit as of now. And everybody's coming out there saying, no, RJ's essential. We need to give him the money, Bobby. And he needs to stay in the Raptors jersey here. Where are all these idiots that used to say, we don't want to keep RJ just because he's Canadian, guys. We don't want to keep RJ just because he's Canadian. Shut the fuck up. That definitely is a bonus. And you know what? When a Canadian guy is doing that for your team like that, there's a certain level of trust that you know that you can count on RJ, and his heart is pure, and he is the truth. And if you had any kind of naysaying and saying things to say about RJ Barrett, watch how he's played against the Cavs in this playoff series, and tell me how you feel about him being in the Raptors jersey. If he ain't got no problem with it, our front office ain't got no problem with it, the fans damn for sure better not have any problem with him playing for the Toronto Raptors next to Scottie Barnes and playing the way he does with that synergy. That synergy that sometimes look in a fast break. Like that's Irvin Johnson going with James Worthy down the court. And their fast break pace with passing off each other and the way that they catch off each other. I'm just saying, that stuff is gold. And that stuff is so much the truth that you know RJ rocks it in the most pure way for our city and our country. You've got to love this. And I love it myself. Because I was a true believer standing by RJ this whole time. I've wanted RJ Barrett on this team since the day he was drafted by the New York Knicks and before his rookie season. I've wanted him here. And when he came here, I knew it. I felt it because I seen him on Team Canada. I seen how when he puts on the maple leaf, he goes all out for Team Canada in FIBA basketball competitions with SGA and Jamal Murray and Lou Dort. I seen it. And I knew that if we got him in Toronto, he would do this for us. And why? Because listen, he does not trying to fumble his childhood dream. And he's heard the criticisms. He's heard the people say he's a toxic asset. He can't defend nobody. He's heard all this stuff. And you know what he did? He's heard what you said, and he's improved himself. He's done all the things y'all been telling him that he couldn't do. And now it's the kind of thing that's like, you know why he did this? You know why he did this? Because he loves being a Raptor so much, he wants to protect it. He wants to do things so good and in such a level that nobody can fuck with him and say, you shouldn't be on this team. And he's succeeding. He's succeeding. How hard is that to do? To be that kind of powerful player that, like, I'm going to set the narrative. Y'all can have this narrative. It's bullshit, first of all. And I'm going to flip the script. And I'm going to show y'all just how you need to keep me. And how much, oh, yeah, I'm a toxic asset. Oh, yeah, I'm inefficient. I don't make shots. Oh, yeah, I can't guard anybody. Oh, I want to show y'all the truth. And the truth hits everybody, Sting. And you see the truth, and you understand, and you covet a Canadian named RJ Barrett playing in a Raptors jersey going forward from now. I think that the average Raptor fan has come to this conclusion as of last night. That it's like, oh, you know, RJ's great. I love him. But, man, that contract. Bullshit, that contract. Tell me that contract ain't worth 33 points in the playoffs and 39 minutes on 12 and 19 shooting at 6 of 8 from 3-point. Tell me he's not worth that. Tell me he's not worth carrying it in the time when everything's going dismal and dark around for the team in game 1 and 2, and he's the only one carrying us on his broad shoulders to the lane with his left hand. Tell me that. Seriously. And understand, all y'all that were talking that smack about him before, you can change. We can come around. You can come and be a supporter now, and I'm with you on it. I'm with you on it. And I was always there with him, and I'm just glad people are starting to realize and wake up. It's not all about analytics. It's not all about what ESPN lies to you about and gaslights you about with perceptions and telling you this is what you should think about this person. It's not about that. It's about your own 2 eyes, and you're watching the game for yourself and deciding for yourself and seeing the truth, because that's what the truth is, and his name is RJ Barrett. That's right. That's right. 5 rebounds, 5 assists, 2 turnovers, 2 steals, 1 block. He did shoot 6 for 8 or 3 for 7 at the free throw line. Unfortunately, he did have 4 missed free throws, but a plus 24, the highest plus minus on the Raptors last night. That's right. Our hometown hero, RJ Barrett. Yeah, he man, how can you crush this man's dreams, especially when he's doing everything right and he's doing everything he can in his power to stay in this position in a number 9 red Raptors jersey? Seriously, I shame on anybody who want to take a childhood kid's dream from the GTA and he's living it out, his fantasy right now. Shame on you if you would want to crush that just because, no, I don't think he should be there. All this bullshit. Shut the fuck up. You can see it with your own eyes, the truth. That's right. That's right. Third star of the game is CMB. This is a rookie. You could have fooled me. 28 minutes, 22 points, 11 of 15 from the field. That's crazy. 11 of 15. This man's not missing. In fact, he has crazy shots that are kind of like a little burp. The ball go into the cylinder, and it'll be kind of jostling around up there. It'll go, and then fall back down into the hoop. It's crazy. I don't understand that shot. It makes me kind of go crazy. I'm like, oh, man, he's going to miss it. Oh, wait, no, he didn't miss it. It dropped through. That's amazing. Oh, my gosh. Colin, clean that up still, because those won't fall at some points. But, get that more clean, and they will always fall. 8 rebounds for Colin. As Jamison said in the postgame interview, he only had 8 rebounds. That doesn't seem right. It seemed like he had way more rebounds than just 8. He had 2 assists, 2 turnovers, and 1 steal and 1 block also. Plus 21 for Colin. He didn't get the free throw line, and he didn't attempt a 3-point shot in this game. You know, the thing about Colin that's really, really special, and the reason why Bobby and Masai wanted to draft him is that his combine stuff was so off the charts. He was like literally the best player in the draft last year by analytics. And it's proving that some ways analytics is right as far as like wingspan, hand speed, and grabbing and all this stuff. His aptitude for awareness and spontaneity with ball being the pinball out there on the court and going every which way, and him just getting the ball and being aware to just snatch it with it whizzing by his head as a pass, or the ball's just loose on the floor and he's just got a magnet to it. And, he's got those claw hands, just like Scotty and Kawhi, those huge hands that just suction cup up the ball and just get it because they're long and they're strong and they just hold the ball in such a way so that, he can grab it from people. And there's strength in the fingers that is like somebody's strength in their arms. And he's such a Johnny on the spot. And this is one of the traits of him that I love. Is his court awareness and his spontaneity to just get a hand on the ball in all types of different situations. And as I said recently, that one of the evolutions of Colin Murray Boils that we can extrapolate from his rookie year right now is that when he realizes what he can do, he's going to just go and steal cookies out of the cookie jar whenever he wants to. Like, it'll just basically be like recognizing a weak ball handler. And Colin just runs up and takes the ball from him. And the Raptors are often running in a transition going the other way because he doesn't even know what he's doing with this yet. And once he learns the individuals in the league, he learns this weak spots, the stuff to look for, the moments to do this. He's going to do it. And it's going to be like more often. Watch. It's going to be a lot more directed. This is really orientation year. This is the ground floor. And you can think about Scotty Barnes in his first year as a rookie, the orientation year, the all-roundness, and not really having any pressure on what he's doing out there because it's like, just play, rookie. Enjoy the NBA, learn it. But yeah, we'll give you assignments and we'll mold you more in the second year, the third year, and the fourth year. But in the first year, you just play carefree and just be yourself. That's what Colin's doing right now. And now extrapolate going forward in the years to come with more specific direction and objectives for what he's got to learn under the coaches of Darko's staff as far as what they could derive him to be, to develop to. Seriously, think about this, guys. Think about this. And don't just think about it from the defensive stuff I just mentioned. Here's an offensive side of the ball for him to grow into. And the fact that he has a touch to be able to make threes to an extent, that's really boding well that there may be 3 levels of scoring for Colin Murray Boils down the road that can be making him an even more complete two-way player where he's an all-round player all of a sudden. Because when you have that kind of strength and agility and that kind of athleticism, the sky's the limit in certain ways. And we already seen a proclivity for him to take the ball and put it on the floor and attack the rim, and also a little bit of a floater from the mid-range when people don't respect him and give him space. So that's stuff that I love right there all around. A plus 21 for Colin Murray Boils as my third star of the game. My fourth star of the game is the chain getter, Jamison Battle. 16 minutes later in the game, all in the second half. 16 minutes to the second half. And, he was so good, Darko just left him out there and let him ride. And that was smart. Because, with Jamison, you don't get burned in some ways like some of the other guys who are three-point shooters on our team. He is an adequate defender. And he also is a pretty good boxing out kind of rebound guy who adds to helping to get the rebounds and do certain things. Now, the specialist role of making the threes, absolutely a powerful weapon. As I said earlier, 14 points in 16 minutes. That's like microwave Vinnie Johnson kind of get that stuff going off the court, off the bench. 5 for 5 from the field, 4 for 4 from 3. Perfect from the field. Similar to Halloween, 2 rebounds and a plus 20. Yeah, Jamison is a solid role player for this team. And you know what? The value we've gotten for him as an undrafted player, he's one of the greatest undrafted players we've ever gotten in the history of the Raptors franchise. And we're going to have to start talking about that more and more as he continues his career with us, hopefully. And, he continues to develop because, man, we got this guy from nowhere. We didn't draft him. We signed him outside the draft as undrafted. And look at the career he's going into right now. It's amazing. It's so, so good. My last star of the game, my fifth star, is Poeltl, guys. I'm going to give Poeltl a big shout out. Look, the controversy about Poeltl starting over Colin, I get this. I get why a lot of people just want to do this. But as I warned y'all, don't expect them to do this. And I was right. Once again, as far as the jump ball is important for Yak to do at the beginning of the game. But did you see, does Yak stay out there and play more than Colin for the game? No. Yak played 18 minutes and Colin played 28 minutes. So is it really a big deal? Because once again, you want to have your biggest player on the court at the beginning of the game because they're establishing weight and presence and height and just paint protection and certain things like that. And if you saw, they were a lot smarter with Jakob in his motions and his movements on defense, and he was way more effective in all kinds of different ways. Whether it was rebounding, whether it was playing defense, there's a lot more done better with him. And I appreciated it. 18 minutes for Yak, 8 points on 4 of 6 shooting. So it's kind of some of that was cleaning up and just making offensive putbacks. 6 rebounds, including half of them being offensive. It's 2 assists, 0 turnovers, and a block, a +4. Look, in some ways, we've been worried about Yak and whether he is a serviceable NBA player at all. But it was good to see him doing contributions and trying his ass off and playing hard and, setting screens for people. That's another huge thing that he does for us that doesn't get any credit. And people need to realize that's part of why he's invaluable for our team too. It's really easy to be a casual and just look at a bad stat line or look at him on the court and say, man, he moves so bad right now. He sucks. Why is he on our team? That is such a short-sighted, very shallow take. You've got to look at this more deeply. Once again, he is the only true center on our team, and that is essential to have in this league. So that by alone makes him not expendable. The fact that we just need that role to be available on our team for different looks, for versatility, and for potential things. Because in the past, when the Raptors have not had this person on this team, well, we have very much gotten our asses kicked, and we had no option to try and fight against it to do anything about it. And real ones know about this. They know about the Tampa year. They know about different seasons since the championship when we played no center and we've gotten eaten alive by people like Karl Anthony Towns and Joel Embiid and bigs that you need a big to be there for. So just remember this, Raptors fans. And you can whine and cry about his money. You can whine and cry and say that he's hurt and all this shit. And just realize, once again, he's a dedicated guy to our team, just like RJ. He loves Toronto. He's really here to play and play his ass off for us. It's very hard to get these players under contract in this league because they're rare. There's not a lot of them. You guys think that these guys grow on trees, but they don't. And the other thing is, we just need this position. So I appreciate Jakob Poeltl. And he had a minimized game, but he was effective in the ways that he needed to be effective for our team. And some of that's just setting up paint presence and muscling. Yak was out there hitting guys left and right. I don't know if you saw that, but him and RJ were hitting people like physically all the time. Every chance they got, hitting people with their arms, shoving them, pushing into them, and showing some aggressive and physicality that is not in the box score. That is something that is helpful to the team, especially when we want to get aggressive and Scotty wants to run downhill on them all day. Well, Jakob's there pushing some people around too. And that's important. That's important. I'll go ahead and do the rest of the players. Brandon Ingram, 29 minutes, 12 points, 5 of 9 shooting, 1 of 2 from 3, 1 of 2 at the free throw line, 3 rebounds, 2 assists, 2 turnovers, and 2 steals, a +15. This is the thing. Brandon wasn't absolutely horrible last night, but he was still handcuffed. He was still getting stymied. He still looked bad, but I want to give him some credit. He panicked at a couple times, especially in the beginning of the game in the first quarter when he was playing, and then he kind of losing the ball near the end line, and I might be going out of bounds. In the regular season, he would just give up on the play, and it'd be a turnover. But I guess he's got in his head, he's like, fuck, I can't turn over the ball, even though I just screwed up. I'm going to save it. And boom, I got the ball to Colin Murray Boils all of a sudden. And he's dunking it at the basket all of a sudden. Whoo, he bailed me out. Woo, because there was a couple of plays like that in the beginning of the game where Brandon was kind of his lackadaisical self, where he causes like a silly, frivolous turnover. But he covered it up because he made an effort move after screwing up, and he didn't turn the ball over completely. And in some ways, I like that. In some ways, you're getting it a little bit more. Now you got to work on not even getting the position where you make the fuck up so that you have to make the talent move to cover it up. Because that was interesting seeing Brandon flubbing and then fixing it real quick and dancing along the end line like that. You're lucky because some of those referees will be calling it against you. People like Courtney Kirkland. If they want to, if they have a chance to call a call against you, Raptors, they will. So you got to play really tightened up. And that's the thing, man. You guys aren't even playing that tightened up, and you're talented enough to win playoff games like last night. That's the crazy thing. Y'all could play way more perfect, and you'd be even more badass, make more of your free throws. And, maybe you can get further in the playoffs if you play at a high, excellent level and stop slumming with some of the stuff you're doing. Seriously. But, yeah, Brandon was useful. Brandon made important shots at times. We saw him zero in and make some of his turnarounds. We saw him walk up and make a three. We saw him add some points to the whole thing to help us win. And, he may not have been a leading scorer. It may not have been this huge bounce back that makes everybody think, oh, Brandon's back. But he was adequate to help in certain ways. And like Scotty said after the game, Scotty very much wanted to give so much credit to his teammates. And he really was complimenting Brandon a lot for last night's game, even though what I just said with his stat line is complimenting RJ, complimenting Colin. Yeah, he went around and gave a lot of kudos to his teammates that made things happen. And he, they asked him to compliment another player, but he was the one, he brought up Brandon instead. He said, well, I want to talk about Brandon instead. I want to talk about the gravity he causes and just how much that allowed me to do what I did tonight, So we got to think about it that way. Walter started, but he was a dud. And in some ways it's okay because, Walter in the shadow box score was doing a lot of work with Mitchell and Harden. And them having a more subdued night, well, Jacoby doesn't score any points, but he's the shadow of those guys, and they don't score as many points either. There's something successful there. And so don't read into Jacoby's stat line as just a 0 for 6 with 0 points and 0 for 3 from 3, 2 rebounds, a +6. There's a lot of energy and a lot of work that Walter put in to corral and control Harden and Mitchell. So you got to keep that in mind. Another goose egg for Sandro. But Sandro is out there working hard and running around and doing what he does. 11 minutes for him, 0 for 3 from the field. He missed both his free throws too. 2 rebounds, 1 assist, 1 turnover, and even on the plus-minus. Yeah, not the best game for Sandro, but the contributions from the 4 guys that were the main 4 stars, yeah, they were huge. I mean, you could look at this and you can see RJ and Scotty had 66 points with them. With you put Colin on that's 88 of our points. 88 of our points from 3 players, RJ, Scotty, and Colin. That's pretty good. 88 points. And you add Jamison Battle on that, you have 102 of our points and 4 players. 102 of our points and 4 players from last night's game. That's pretty impressive. Trace Jackson-Davis got 2 minutes of garbage time. He missed a shot, and he got a rebound, and he was a -3. Jonathan Mobo got another dunk at the end of a playoff game. So Mobo's mid in 2 games. He's averaging 2 points per game in the playoffs because he's getting these alley-oop dunks right next to the basket. The big exclamation mark at the end of the game when we win. Well, Jonathan Mobo's the victory cigar lob dunk next to the basket. I love seeing it. And Scotty's enjoying it, I'm sure, to see his childhood friend getting playoff points in Raptors jersey. You got to like that. Garrett Temple got out there, and he dribbled a bit in the garbage time. He missed 1 shot, and he got an assist. But, yeah, he's the one who threw the ball to Jonathan. And, it was fun to see Garrett get some playoff time at his age and kind of trying to run the younger Raptors and that last crew. A.J. Lawson out there for 2 minutes. He got 1 shot up. He missed it. And Grady Dick got out there for 2 minutes. He didn't do anything. He didn't get a single stat. Jamal Shedd, honorable mention to him. As I said, he didn't get to start, but he did play 30 minutes. He only scored 2 points. But once again, just like Jacoby, he's being a dog on defense. He's guarding up on people. He's active. And the thing that it was really cool by him, he had 5 steals. And that's fantastic. 5 steals for Shedd, 5 assists, 3 turnovers, and a rebound. Yeah, and a +12. So that's a pretty good stat line for him. In some ways, that's why I don't want him starting, because the pressure for him to score is on when he's starting. But if he's coming off the bench, he can be the backup point guard, get assists, get guys involved, not really have to worry about scoring and put a lot of offense on that, and also really worry about the defense. And that's the role that he should be doing right now at this point in his career. He's not a caliber starting point guard. He is not. He's a backup. And in some ways, Jacoby is a good three-point shooter and all-around scorer at this point, that he makes more sense in the starting lineup because he can go and get some points, even though he didn't last night. Even though he didn't. We'll go ahead and look at the other side. And like I said, nobody got 20 points over there. Harden had the most points, 18 points for him, and he had 8 turnovers also. That was huge. Getting James Harden to be the worst version of James Harden, which is a turnover machine, is absolutely on the game plan for Coach Darko and the Raptors. Absolutely. Get James to be a turnover machine. Get James to be lackadaisical. Get James to not value the ball and cough it up. And we'll take it from him. Yeah, we'll take it from him. That's right. Mitchell, 15 points on 7 of 16 shooting. Him and Harden were 12 of 29 from the field together. And that's what I'm saying. These guys were shooting above their averages in the first 2 games. They got to balance it out. They're not going to be shooting as crazy good the whole entire series. And there's going to be some balancing out. And it started last night. Yeah. Fun stuff. We got Schroeder out there. He hit a 3 at one point. Let's do it. The team stats. And looking at it, this is a very interesting stuff here. You know, the Raptors shot 57% from the field overall. We got more shot attempts than them and made 50 field goals, which was fantastic. We made the same exact amount of threes as them, 14, but we took half the shots they took. They took 45 three-point attempts and shot 31%. We took only 23 three-point attempts and made 61%. That's what I'm saying. The quantity of just a lot of three-point shots, but no quality is no good. You want to have a very high quality, less shooting threes because you're just making the threes. And RJ really set the tone right from the start of the game for us to be a great three-point shooting team last night. Really, really set that tone. The free throw line was bad. They only shot 57% at the free throw line, 12 of 21. That's 9 missed free throws. Thank God y'all won by 22. Because, man, that extra 9 points, if we had needed it because y'all lost or something like that, man, we don't want that to haunt us. And, you know, in game 4, I want y'all to hit all your free throws and do as well as you can for the rest of the series, the rest of the playoffs. Make those free throws. We did get out-rebounded. Yeah, it was those offensive rebounds they were getting. 16 offensive rebounds for the Caps. And that's something we totally got to clean up. Part of it is just finding your guy and boxing him out. Part of it is just getting the effort to go after the loose balls and zeroing in on it like a homing missile and going to get it. You know, Dean Wade was the best guy doing that on the court last night. He'd see where the ball was going to, and he'd run towards it and get it. And we need Jacoby, and we need other people to do that more because those guys can hustle after the loose balls and especially the rebounds, the way they're bouncing off the backboard. Because, man, way too many offensive rebounds for the Cavs last night. And they out-rebounded us 42-35. Assist-to-turnover ratio was back in line with what the Raptors' standard is. We got 29 assists and only 12 turnovers. So that's almost a 3-to-1. That's almost a 3-to-1. I guess a 3-to-1 would be 36. But 29, you know, it's 2.5. 2.5 to 1 assist-to-turnover ratio. Way better than a 1-to-1 like the last game. So, yeah, I like seeing that. And theirs was a lot worse, 23 assists to 22 turnovers for them. You know, we had 11 steals. That was fantastic. And even though we lost the rebounding battle, we won the points in the paint 60-40. You know, the free throws were really annoying. There was at one point where RJ missed a second free throw at the line, but the ball bounced really nice, and it came out, and it ended up becoming a 3-point play. A 4-point play because he missed that free throw, and all of a sudden Jamison hit a 3 off of that missed free throw. That was fun, and that was actually a catalyst in the game. That was a point where everybody in the crowd just went crazy after that play. Even though RJ missed, everybody was like, "Oh!" But then the ball ends up becoming a 3-point shot, and you know, the crowd was really lit after that and going nuts and really engaged in the game and very loud after that particular play. So, yeah, there's the box score for the game last night. Good job, Raptors. Game 4, 1 o'clock, Sunday. Let's go. Let's go. Yeah, let's see what else y'all are saying in the chat here. Stargate saying, where are those 2 individuals who Lex has to call out on yesterday's stream with their defeatist attitude now? Yeah, we don't want to do that right now. There's no reason to do that. We'll go ahead and we'll just talk about the goodness of the game last night and enjoy it. That's the best thing to do right now. That's the best thing to do right now. So we'll just have to see how things go. But yeah, let's keep it positive, guys, and keep striving for victories and good things to happen. Seriously, guys. That's the way to do it. Yeah, most saying CMB is special, man. Seriously. Yeah, he's a keeper. And honestly, the combination of him with Scotty is very powerful. Is very, very, very powerful. Those guys are nasty as a group together. Yeah. Here we go. This is something on CMB I want to share from Raptors Reddit. This is the Raptors Redditor of the day. It's Uncle Carl. He's a Colin Murray Boils enthusiast. And he's posted something from StatMuse. It's a stat, and it's saying that CMB joins Magic Johnson and Tony Parker as the only players under 21 years old with a 20-plus points on 70% or plus higher field goals in a playoff game. So Colin has done something that only two men have done before in the history of the NBA, and those two people are champions and legends, Irvin Magic Johnson and Tony Parker of the Spurs. They're the only players under 21 to ever get a 20-plus point game in the playoffs, shooting 70% from field goal. That's a good company to be in. Thank you, Uncle Carl, for your Reddit post of the day. The Raptors Redditor of the day is right there. That's right. G saying CMB has the Kawhi personality. Doesn't show too much emotion either way. Just goes to work. We are lucky to have him. Yeah, you mean he's like a cyborg? Maybe. I think there's more emotion in there. I mean, I do see him grimace in pain sometimes. But yeah, I think that there's some accurate kind of comparisons there, especially with the defensive prowess of their hands and the things that they can do with their strength. For sure, for sure. Shaq Lindsay saying, Mel, you were at just want to be a part of New York, New York. Oh, it's like you're singing New York, New York, New York. Yeah, I don't want to rub it in too much on other things. We got to be centralized on our plight and what we're doing as Raptors Nation right now. And in some ways, I don't want to get any weird kind of energy from other things and joking and making fun of anybody. It's like the Knicks have their issues now, and they can have them. And I don't want anything to do with it. In some ways, well, yeah, you get what you get. You live your life and see what happens, Knicks Nation. And, well, Raptors Nation is doing the same thing. And we're just going to take things as they come, and hopefully more success is coming. That's what we're hoping. That's right. That's right. UC's here. Good morning, Raptor Freak UC. Forever grateful for Masai for drafting Scotty. Last night showed us that he is our franchise player. Yeah, we got to love, Masai forever. The legacy of Masai Ujiri, we the North culture, and the Toronto Raptors that he built is, like I said in the past, he's like our Red Auerbach to our franchise. Red Auerbach has such a huge influence on the Boston Celtics for so long. Greg Popovich has such an influence on the San Antonio Spurs. There's these influence people, these very key people in franchise histories. And Masai Ujiri is definitely that one for the Raptors. Masai forever. And fuck you, Keith Belly. I'll say that this morning. That's right. But yeah, Masai's legacy and his mark on Toronto sports in this country of Canada are forever. They're forever. I'm saying it right there. Yeah. G wants a dunk. You're giving a dunk to G. G for the bees, the killer bees, because of the killer bees. All right, the killer bees are going to get you. Isaac Campbell with the assist to original Raptor Freak Trivia champion G on today's channel with a dunk. He's at 36. So 36 dunks for G on the Raptor Freak dunk chart. That's right. Let's see. G saying our stars outperformed theirs. Yeah, that's essential. It's basic. Like, you want to win games, Scotty, you got to play better than James Harden. It's that simple. This is the way it always has been. NBA on NBC. It's Charles Barkley and the Suns versus Michael Jordan and the Bulls. Who's going to win? Who's going to play better, Charles or Michael? It's that simple, Scotty. That's what I'm saying. You can be trying to get everybody else in charge, getting involved. But if you get involved and you become in charge, well, you have more power and say over how the game goes. And he even admitted this, too, in the post-game news conference. He's like, Scotty, what do you attribute this sudden aggressiveness and getting the score for yourself? To be honest,
It's actually something I just decided to do all of a sudden, and I could do it. I could do it. Now I'm doing it.
I knew this. We knew this, Scott, that you have been holding back on this, that you could have been doing this more. And now you're getting it. And now you're understanding that to get the result for the win that you want to get, you're going to have to do this to an extent. I'm telling you right now, this is the way to do it because you are so unstoppable. You're so high percentage. These turnaround little mid-range things you're doing are very, very good bread and butter for an NBA player to have a very successful career and be somebody who's just dependable and does this night in, night out. So why don't you want to do this? First of all, it'll mean more of this for you. And second of all, it'll mean more notoriety. And third of all, it'll mean more success for the Toronto Raptors franchise and winning championships and winning stuff. So keep developing in this direction because there is a lot of Antetokounmpo in you. Let's just put it that way. Like I said, there's nothing scarier than you coming down the court for this other team and trying to figure out how the hell they're going to stop you because they have no idea. Because honestly, they can't because you have the different options at your disposal to defeat them in whichever defensive choice they make. So you could beat them every time down the court, Scotty. You just got to figure out the puzzle for that particular possession every single time. And it may be like Joker. They may cover you up real tight, and all of a sudden you're passing to somebody else, and you're like Nikola, and you're getting a lot of assists, but you're taking your own when you notice that they are laying off you, and that defense is a little suspect. All of a sudden, you're going to make them pay. Little babies on your back, dunking them on your heads. That's what you got to do, Scott. That's what you got to do. That's right. That's it right there. It sets the tone. That's right. Smooth saying Scotty dominated. He needs to do this for the Raptors to win. Keep going. That's right. That's right. The Raptor freaks are saying this. Reggie sees it. He wants more, Scotty. He wants more. Seymour saying no finger pointing or claiming we knew they would win. Let's just embrace the victory and keep the spirits high. We have a shot. Yeah, we're all together, win or lose. And in some ways, some days some of us will be down on our luck and feeling like we're a little depressed about things, and we got to lift the other people up, and we got to do it vice versa. Some days I'll be down, y'all lift me. Some days y'all will be down, I'll lift y'all. That's just what we do on the Raptor Freak channel. We stay optimistic and we stay positive and we stay thinking the best things for them. And we allow things like this to happen because it's in the realm of our imagining and our possibility and our perception. And we don't believe all the bullshit and the hype out there that says, no, the Raptors are getting swept by Cleveland. No, the Raptors ain't good enough to do nothing in this league. Well, if you leave a part of your brain open to the possibility of success, it will happen to you sometimes. But if you don't believe in it, you don't think it can happen, well, you're closing yourself off from opportunities and the potential that you could have. That's right. That's right. That's right. Smith saying, I thought it was a long shot they would win, man. Happy I was wrong. Yeah, Reggie's coming around. He's admitting it. I didn't think it was a long shot. I mean, seriously, I knew our home crowd is a factor, and it really was, guys. This is the thing. Every person who says a crowd can't help a team, you're full of shit. Every single person that thinks, cheering defense doesn't do anything to help the team, you're full of shit. Because that energy that the crowd fed those guys is part of what was the engine of Colin Murray Boils last night. That engine, that energy coming at them from the fans, and they're cheering them, pushing them like wind behind their back towards victory. That's what that energy is. They see it. They feel it. They feel the love. They feel the passion. They feel the energy, and it matters. Trust me. And when I go to the game on Sunday, right from the jump ball, they're going to be hearing this, defense, defense. And I'm going to do that the whole dang game. And all year long, I've been doing this. And every single one of these games I came and did this, they won. So we're going to do it again on Sunday to get this series evened up. That's right. I'm personally going to come down there and do my part this time for game 4. That's right. I'm going to be down there for that. That's right. We're going to make this happen, Smooth. You better start believing because, we're getting involved. That's right. Monique saying this, I was so early last night, caught up with Leo for an hour. Shrina, Ahmed, and more. Cool. You got to talk to Leo Routens last night. Very, very cool. Monique hanging out with Leo, a man who's the kid from Kiel, a basketball Canadian legend. That's right. That's right. Leo's awesome. Leo's a smooth guy. I saw Leo outside the arena in the last year and talked to him for a second myself at one point. He's a nice guy. He's a good dude. We love Leo on this channel. I miss Leo's words of wisdom. We used to do that segment on the show. Leo Routen's words of wisdom. That was a pretty good segment for a while there. Yeah. James is saying, Lex, when is Quickly coming back? I don't know. It's frustrating, but you can see he's smiling and happy when his team's winning, when he can't be out there. But when they're losing, he's getting a lot of regret. He's getting a lot of feelings of like, man, I should be out there for them. Like I said, he be out there. It's not up to him. He's made it very clear last week in the interview that he wants to play, and Alex Silver is not letting him because he doesn't think his hamstring's right for this. You know, it could very well be the kind of thing, James, where he doesn't play again on Sunday, but he plays in Game 5. And all of a sudden, that's an added dimension for a very pivotal Game 5 that really helps us in a big, huge way that they haven't really seen and they haven't had to make adjustments against. As Quickly can be a secret weapon and somebody that's just a new development in the whole chess game because we added another piece to the board. That's what I'm saying. So, I mean, I don't know. We'll have to see. It's really his day-to-day, and hopefully he can start playing as soon as Sunday. Hopefully. I thought he might be able to come back last night, but it wasn't to be. It wasn't to be, unfortunately. This is frustrating for everybody. And we got to understand, well, what's the logical narrative that's going to come from this? Well, if we aren't successful in the playoffs, some people may blame fingers on Manuel for not being available and being hurt, because there is a little bit of a label that IQ gets hurt a lot, and he hasn't played enough games for us since we got him. I hate that narrative, but I'm warning everybody before that. Like, we don't want to do this summer. I don't want to hear people saying jack shit about Emmanuel Quickly just because he was hurt with his hamstring during the playoff run in any kind of negative way. We can't have short memories. We have to remember what he did for us during the season. We have to remember buzzer beater winners. We have to remember what it looks like with him in the lineup and with him without in the lineup and what that contrast is and value him. That's what I got to say on that. Because in some ways, once again, I have to remind everybody, the reason why we have Poeltl and Quickly is because those are two roles we coveted a years past that we didn't have on our team. We didn't have a true center, so we needed to have Poeltl. And we didn't have the kind of point guard to do kind of the things that Emmanuel did. And remember, the catalyst for this was Maxey. And the last time we were in the playoffs, and how Maxey ran circles around Fred VanVleet, and we all decided, oh, we need a speedier point guard so that we can do this stuff. Yeah, let's not forget what our wish list was in the past and turn our back on the player that we acquired to fix that wish list. Because that's why we wanted Quickly. Remember, we wanted Quickly because we needed to deal with people like Maxey in this league and how Maxey tore us up in the Philadelphia-Toronto playoff series in Scotty's rookie year. So we got to remember this kind of stuff. We can't have short memories. And if there's new fans that come along and they just have their opinions without the context of history and the reasons why we do things the way we do with this franchise in the front office, let's fill them in and inform them why. That's why. Because there was a thing that happened with Maxey in a playoff series a few years back, and that's why we felt like we needed a player that is the bag that Emmanuel Quickly has. That's what I'm saying right there. Yeah, Reggie's saying if Toronto can win Game 4, it really becomes a toss-up for the series. That's right. That's right. We win Game 4, we can go steal Game 5, and then we finish the series in Game 6 in Toronto, Reggie. That's right. We do it just like how we did the Eastern Conference Finals against Milwaukee in 2019. Let them have the first two on their court and then sweep them in 4 games after that. Yeah, we can do this. We can do this. You can see the evidence from last night. We can do this. Nako's saying Raps in 6. That's right. Go Hawks. You want Atlanta. That's right. Let's go. Smooth saying Danny Green was on William Lou's show last night. They had a watch party at a restaurant. Yeah, they're doing this for the playoffs or something like that. And I guess they did a collaboration with the Green Room and Harrison Sanford and Danny Green. Yeah, hello and welcome to do these events, watch parties for big games every once in a while. And they'll have different people like Alex Wong and William Liu. And I don't know, they'll get like S and Samson and different people from Raptors media places. That's right. Shaq Lindsay saying RJ is a lifer. All heart and determination can't be measured, only value. That's what I'm saying. What's that old American Express commercial? You know, tickets to a baseball game, popcorn, $10.50. The smile on her face, priceless. You know those fucking commercials, American Express. You know they say the price this, price that, priceless. There's something about RJ Barrett that's priceless, and they ain't got nothing to do with the contract number.
Ain't got nothing to do with the terms or years or none of that shit. It has to do with the truth and the heart and the evidence and why he plays and what he's doing for us. Are you ever going to worry about RJ Barrett not putting the full effort out there for our team and going all out and standing for our team? Did you hear what he said about defending Scottie Barnes from Jalen Tyson clapping over him in game 2? He's like, no, man. It's like, I'm not having that. You're not walking over my guy and clapping over him. No, you're not doing that. You saw how you ran up on him and said, no, we're not doing this. And then the reporter said, well, what about what happened in New Orleans with DeJounte Murray and Jamal Shed? I wasn't in the game at that time. Trust me. And then RJ went on to explain, I'm not no tough guy or anything like that. It's just this kind of mess doesn't happen when I'm out there. That's right. He's not trying to ask for smoke, but he's saying also there is a quality control of respect that RJ Barrett's willing to hold and fight for the Raptors. And in some ways, that's in some ways, that's another added dimension that people need to add in the value of him that you won't see in the stats, is that he's standing for us literally and getting in people's faces if they're trying to stand over our guys on the ground. So yeah, we got to look at this from all aspects, Raptors fans, and understand, yeah, I'm a homer. Yeah, I love a kid from Canada, from Toronto playing for the Toronto Raptors, but that's not just the only bias here. There's all kinds of built-in positives and add-ons from having RJ on this team in all kinds of ways, whether it's in the post-game he's speaking French and taking care of the French interview like Chris Boucher used to, because that's a kind of a prerequisite. Both the Tempo and the Raptors have to have a French-speaking player to do those kind of interviews. And the Tempo have French-speaking players too, just so you know, coming in. And they will be able to do the French interviews with the French-Canadian press for Canada. That's right. RJ does it. It's a little awkward, but he does it. And Knicks fans, they come in and they see RJ doing the French interviews and post-game conference. They say, whoa, wait, RJ knows French? Wait a second. Wait, we never knew this in all the years he was in New York. We never knew this. Whoa, this is crazy. I love it when he does that. But that's another reason why you want RJ on your team. It's because we do need somebody to do the French interviews. Bryce is here. Good morning to Bryce Lawson. Hold it down in the great state of Kentucky, the home of Tiani Key from her collegiate experience with the Wildcats. Tiani Key of the Toronto Tempo. You familiar with Tiani Key, Bryce Lawson? Good morning, Lex and Raptor Freaks. I felt the crowd through the TV. Battle for 3. Boom. Absolute chills, man. Scotty and RJ join elite company with 66 combined. Colin Murray Boils set a record for only rookie with 20 points in the playoffs. Yeah, Cooper Flagg get 20 points in the playoffs. Stargate's with me on this one. Did he get 20 points in the playoffs, Cooper Flagg? Nah, he didn't, did he? No, that crowd was electric, and they really did do things right. I'm really proud of the Raptors fan nation and doing it right. And in some ways, look, this is part of how I want to evolve it with this leadership. I'm telling y'all, the defense chant could be our bread and butter. We really got to do this for all games, not just postseason. Start doing this for regular season. We could bring this energy every game if y'all want to, and we could get this notoriety. And honestly, we could add 5 more wins on a regular season total if our crowd was like this just every game. But I get it. It's the playoffs. You get up a little bit more for it. But I'm not doing this any differently on Sunday than I do it in the regular season, just so y'all know. When I go down there and I get loud, it's going to be the same volume that I've been going since preseason. So it's like, we could have this notoriety. I want to evolve the Scotiabank Arena crowd. Sure, Jurassic Park is daunting. It's a whole other level of people and humanity and loudness and energy. But I'm telling y'all, if you listen to me, if we could be this defense chance regular season, all 48 minutes of 4 quarters, all year long, woo-wee, we'll be just like a college crowd atmosphere where it's like, whoa, wait, yeah, we're going to Toronto and playing. I know it's October, it's regular season, but this crowd is something else. They bring it all year long, and there's levels to it. But I want that level that we had last night to just be a business as usual at Scotiabank Arena for all 82. Well, I guess 41, I should say. All 41. Yeah, really good game. I love to see it. Yeah, I'm glad you're entertained. As a Raptor freak, you deserve that, Bryce Lawson, to see a great game and see the Raptors bounce back and get a win in this series. That's right. Randolph's here. Good morning to Randolph Phillips. Blessings, beloved Raptor freaks, fam. Premature celebration is for fools. Yeah. Who laughs last laughs the best. Your climb may be painful. Your start might be late, but endurance is always the key. I love that. I love that. There's a lot of wisdom in that one. Keep going. Don't give up. It may be a tough slog at the beginning, but you'll get some momentum and you'll get moving and you'll get more payoff later on. But you got to do the work first. And that's how it all comes. Yeah, I don't want to get overly happy right now. And it seems like the guys were very level-headed after the game last night. Of course, in the team photo, there's all smiles and poses and cheesy big smiles like Scotty's. But, once again, this is part of the maturity of learning in the NBA. Don't get too crazy and happy in celebration because you still have tons of work to do. And you don't want to rest on your laurels and think like you won something because you just won one game. You won the first ever playoff game for Darko. And that's fantastic. The one of many to come. The first one of many to come. That's right. Seymour saying, echo that message loudly. Salute both our RJs. Yeah, he's listening to what I was saying about RJ being the truth. And I think, like I said, on Raptors Reddit, it's turned very heavy in a pro RJ place at this point. It was not a pro RJ place most of the season, which is ridiculous. In some ways, he's been steady like this for us since he got in our jersey, y'all. Since we traded him, he's been very, very steady. I love what RJ said yesterday, though, in the practice interview before the game. He said, I love being on the Raptors, and I want to show off that I'm on the Raptors, but I don't feel proud to rock the Raptors and rep the Raptors unless we're winning. Like he, in the last couple of years since he got traded from New York, we haven't been a winning team this whole time. We've been a losing team at times. And at those times, it's like RJ's in some ways, he can't be as like proud and out there about being proud about the Raptors if we're a losing record. He wants to be proud of this team because they're winning. And that's important to him. And well, we were a winning team this year and we're in the playoffs. And we won our first playoff game with RJ and Darko in the fold. And I love that. I love that so much, man. I love that so much. Reggie saying Green compared RJ to more athletic Zach Randolph. Yeah, that's a ridiculous comparison. I don't understand why you do that. It's like Randolph is a power forward and he's way bigger than RJ. That's a weird one. I don't know. People make weird comparisons all over the place. Although, Colin, I didn't like this comparison, but he's owning it. He likes it. Colin likes that he's being compared to Draymond Green. There was an interview in the last couple of weeks where they said, you play a lot like Draymond Green. He's like, thank you. I want to be like Draymond Green. He's a good person for me to be compared to. So he took that as a compliment and said, I hate when people compare people to Draymond. I think it's a lazy comparison because it gets done so much. But Colin thinks it's a big compliment. And I guess in some ways I could see where he would think that his style and what Draymond does, there are comparisons there. There are comparisons there. And I guess he's not insulted by it. I would be if I was in the NBA. It was like, you think I play like Draymond Green? That's not nice. But Colin likes it. I don't see this comparison that Danny Green's doing here. It's weird. Let's see. That's Danny Green, right? Full name answer. I'm going to guess it's because we were saying Danny Green was with William Liu. Stargate saying, I suspect Ed Malloy or Scott Foster will be reffing the next game. Well, we'll just have to see. I hope that isn't true. We got a really good crew last night, and they did end up being pretty good. I mean, Pat Frayer and Josh Tiven are very top-notch. Courtney Kirkland was a little bit funky for a second there. He really doesn't like us. But Frayer, very fair, very fair. They had a couple of calls that are a little bit weird, but honestly, the refs weren't really a big factor in the game last night. They really weren't. They really, really weren't. There was a little bit of foul trouble here and there for a couple of key guys. But for the most part, the refs were just mediating the game and not making it about them or even interjecting themselves to be a factor in the outcome, which I appreciate. This is the way refs should be in the NBA. So we'll just have to see. I mean, I'll pay attention to who's reffing today. This could tell us what could be going on tomorrow. So, those guys are all off today. So they could very well be coming tomorrow. So, John Goebel, James Williams, Zach Zarba, those guys are the crew chiefs today, and I don't see the problem refs reffing today. So they could be online for one of them to be involved with us tomorrow, either one of those two guys you just named, along with Mark Davis. Those are really the three names, Malloy, Foster, and Davis. that we have to watch out for the most. Those three names, they're the worst. They're the worst. Seymour saying to have the heart of Zach Randolph is gold. All right, that's cool. That's cool. He's such a big, nice guy, right? That's why. Shaq Lindsay saying this. I told you about CMB. His potential is through the roof. Colin Murray Boils is doing something no other rookie is doing in his draft, with the exception of Flag. That's play at both ends on the court. Think about it. Okay. But Cooper's not doing it in the playoffs, though. That's the difference right there. That's right. Chriscom saying, hey, yo, Raptors freaks. Good morning to you, Chriscom. Well, I hope your prediction came out right. He's a rookie, is what Shaq's Lindsay's saying. Nako's saying, VJ's doing really good. Con's playing games were doo-doo. Yeah, Con Knipple did not show up for the Hornets in the play-in games. They did win the first one, but they lost the second one. And in neither one, he didn't shoot well. He didn't do well at all. You're exactly right. I did see those box scores, and it looked like Con was not helping them in the way he should have. That's right. Let's see what else we got in the chat today. Let's see. Chriscom is saying this. Remember all those times I mentioned Battle? It gets brushed aside and doesn't seem relevant. What we saw yesterday is what I expected a long time ago. Shout out Colin Murray Boils breaking the rookie records. Yeah, I mean, man, I want Darko to use Battle more. Obviously, I think all of us do. And I'm like, why haven't you been using him more this whole season in that way? Because, like, look, his coming out party was against the Cavs, and it was on Halloween. And it was like October, at the end of October. So it's like, why didn't you use him more throughout the season at times in certain ways? But I always think, like, sometimes it's because it's a secret weapon. It's kind of like if we have too much tape of Battle out there, maybe teams are devising more of his tendencies and understanding how to guard him better. Like there's a proprietary kind of like secret, like it's Colonel Sanders in the recipe for Kentucky Fried Chicken. You know, it's like we got to hide him a little bit because in some ways we know he can do it. Do we really need to practice him doing it all the time in games? Well, you could win games by him doing it in the games, Darko. I don't know. It's just a weird thing. It's like, why wouldn't you play him more often in our rotation all year long? It's kind of where we've been, right, Crisco? Like, why haven't you been playing Jameson? He's so money. It's not like Grady. He did have some periods of time this season where Battle was not hitting his three, and he wasn't exactly right. So, it's such a weird thing. I wish they would play him more. Maybe next year he will get more trust and played more. Monique saying Darko's post-game interview on CMB. Yeah, I like what he was saying about him. I mean, there's really is so much potential. This is just the ground floor. And there's so many different kind of aspects about him that we can develop and really get more honed. And like I said, man, this kid's a quick learner. He's really adaptable. And he's going to learn at a quicker rate than most NBA pros. And he's going to be like, really analytical and really understanding certain specific stuff as he goes and he learns the individuals in the NBA more as he plays them more. I mean, that's part of the journey with Scotty and his years in the league so far. He's gotten more specific and really with the matchup. And I think one of the things Colin was talking about last night after game that's fun about this series is not having to switch up the focus from different teams throughout the week. You in the regular season, you'll play like 4 teams in a week and you'll have to switch and go from where you can really hyper focus on one team and their personnel and their tendencies. I think a lot of the Raptors really enjoy this because they really are cerebral, high IQ players that like the whole mental aspect of figuring it out. People like Shed, people like Scotty, and Colin's into this too. I think he expressed very much the whole fun of having a series and playing a set of games and what that entails with the whole chess of it. He's into that stuff. And I like that because in some ways you want a team that's like that thinks on that level because they're more suited to be successful in the postseason than just people that are on autopilot and just playing talent-wise and not really smart up here. But the team that is talented and smart and can make the adjustments, that'll beat the team that's just talented every time. Every time. It will. That's right. Shaq Lindsay saying 6'7", grabbing rebounds over Mobley and Allen. Also guarding the perimeter. Wow, so unbelievable. CMB is the illest. The thing about some of the rebounding with the Raptors, and we saw this in a clip that came out in the last couple weeks, a behind the scenes clip where Darko was making Sandro Mamukelashvili do push-ups at practice. Yeah, did you guys see that clip? I forget where I saw it somewhere. It's an Open Gym Extra. And its reason why is because Sandro was not rebounding two-hand style. There's a lot of tipping and kind of one-handed kind of trying to grab the rebounds of the Raptors, and Darko hates this shit. He's like me. You know, one of the problems we're having right now is ending the defensive possession when the other team has the ball and just securing the ball on a defensive rebound. Because, you know, they're getting offensive rebounds. They're coming in there and they're getting second, third chance shots. This is so important. Defense isn't just getting a steal or a block or tying somebody up. The most important part of the defense is the defensive rebound to end the possession for that team. And until you secure that ball, it's not over. You got to play all out. You can't rest and say, oh, they shot the shot. They missed it. Okay, we'll just get the rebound. Wait, you just stood around. The other team just stole the rebound, and they're getting a second shot. You know, two hands. Because last night, even at times, I saw Sandro and other Raptors trying to rebound with one hand, and it was not successful. The other team would get the ball from us. So remember, guys, two hands. Just like Darko had Sandro doing push-ups because he wasn't rebounding with two hands. Remember this in the game, Raptors. Seriously, this is important. We need this to happen. Two-handed rebounding. That's right. Monique is saying, doesn't this series remind you of the Raptors Magic series years ago? The first round of the championship run? Maybe, although the Magic only won the first game, and that's it. They won the first game, and it was on our home court, which was shitty, and Kyle Lowry scored 0 points, and then we proceeded to go 4 straight against them. I believe that's how that went down, right? Yeah, that's the series you're talking about, I'm pretty sure. We did play the Magic another time in the playoffs, I believe. Fiercely saying, good morning, fam, and happy Friday. We need to keep the momentum. Raptors in 6. I love that. I love that. MJ, I hope you're having a fantastic morning. I hope Fiercely Jr. is doing fantastic too. Seymour saying, salute to Bobby Webster for selecting Colin Murray Boils over Common Malawach. Yeah. Yeah. Once again, this is another one of these times where I can say we did know better than Bobby Webster. In some ways, it's like all these keyboard GMs, all these people out in social media land that think they know how to run the Raptors better than the GM. Well, this is an instance where I'm proven wrong, and I'll get in this category. Because I didn't advocate for Murray-Boyles to get drafted. I advocated for Common. And I was disappointed at draft when I saw Common was still on the board and we took Murray-Boyles, and then Malawach went to the Suns, the pick after us. I was disappointed. But in some ways, I had to say, look, one of my credos is trust in Masai, trust in Bobby. And, well, you have to go through seeing the time elapse, go by, see how the person performs. And then, well, you analyze whether you were wrong or right. And, well, good job, Bobby and Masai, with Colin Murray Boils. You know, it's a similar thing with Grady. It's a similar thing with Jacoby. We got to see as time goes on, the jury is out, and then we analyze more and more. Well, Jakob Poeltl's looking better and better as a 17th pick, right? Isn't he? But then maybe Grady's not looking as great at the pick he was at in the first round at this point. So we'll just have to see. But, yeah, Bobby Webster, good job with getting Colin. And once again, the front office knows better than the nation, the Raptors nation. That's right. Monique saying, I love how pissed Max Strus was. I love that too. All right, Mo, I'm going to give you a dunk for loving how pissed Max Strus was. That's hilarious. All right, let me see. Where's Monique? We're going to give her a dunk. She's at 30 on the dunk chart. You got Steph Curry's dad, Del Curry, number 30 right there. That's right. Let's see. Oh, Henry Taylor. Thank you for the subscription, oh, Henry Taylor. Good to see you in the chat. Let's see. Shaq Lindsay saying, great move, Darko, inserting battle. We rode the battle cat to the end. Okay. And Bryce is saying, Milbester, Lex, he brought up baseball every time in the chat, even after you told him to stop. I know. I just had enough. The thing was he was just being a poor winner, and he was rubbing it in. And I was like, all right, you don't contribute to this channel in the way that you can do this. I'm sorry. You come in here and distract, and you take up my time with your bullshit. So, yeah, it was time. And he had a good run on this channel. Who knows? Maybe I'll feel bad. And like a year from now, I'll unblock him, and he might sprout up again like a mushroom at some point. We might see Milbester come back. But right now, he's officially banned, at least for the rest of these playoffs. Maybe if the Knicks go out in a failed way, I might unban him just to see if he does come back, and then we can talk to him. Henry's saying, what will you do with Brandon? I don't know. Brandon does not fit. He will destroy your chemistry. This, this is a decision we don't need to think about right this second. This is something that is really off season. In some ways, he's in the foxhole with us, and he's still a very valuable player to our team, and he hopefully will be still going forward. But we'll have to see. I mean, I would say this, Henry, if we're going to have to pick anybody to trade from the starting lineup, it's obviously him at this point, right? Because in some ways, he doesn't naturally fit with Scotty completely right. In some ways, the interactions between Scotty and Brandon are not pronounced, and they're not something that we see as a mechanism in our offense and what we're doing that's just naturally happening and just kind of deriving good things from, right? So I get this. You're saying he does not fit. He destroyed our chemistry. I won't disagree. He's destroyed our chemistry at times with being a dead note on the piano, whether it's from turnovers or just ineffective offense and being a black hole, not hitting his shots. So I don't know. This isn't a question for me because I'm not the GM. I'm not Bobby Webster. And, it could very well be the plan is to keep him around and still trying to integrate him into fitting more comfortably and more time. This is like the first year of him with our team. And it could be that, there's a path going forward where he continues to be here and he gets more integrated and it does fit better. I don't know. We'll have to see. Either way, this is for the future and I'm in the present and we have a game 4 against the Cavs on Sunday. And that's the next thing we think about right there. That's it. Milbester is out of here. That's right. You Raptors have to make a decision if you want to advance. Battle and the rookie looks real good to me. There you go. This is another fan calling us you Raptors. I mean, I agree with this. I think that every team's always trying to strive to improve itself, and sometimes tough decisions have to be made. And, well, we'll just have to see. Like I said, I have a lot of trust in Bobby Webster. Hopefully he can work within the ownership group of MLSE with Rogers and Pelly, watching, and we won't be hindered is part of what I worry about the most. That's right. Oh, Henry, BI will be fine. That's what Seymour's saying. Bryce is saying, BI was lazy yesterday, man. His loose handle is annoying. He kept falling. He doesn't box out. He was irritating me a bit. Yeah, he does that to me too. It's just that, like, man, I feel like it's habits. It's like you can have a lackadaisical kind of rope-a-dope kind of like dribble and handle and a way that you move with your body. But when the pace picks up and everything's more hit your face playoffs, you can't play that way at this point. Like, it's almost like Brandon has to steel himself up physically because he has to brace for the extra physicality that the Cavs are sending at him. And in some ways, that's sending him to the floor. That's sending him on loose, crazy dribbles where he's losing the ball. It's tough. That's part of the adjustment. It's like I think Jack is saying it the other day, Jack Armstrong. In the playoffs, you stop doing some of the extra shit that you could get away with in the regular season. You got to tighten up. And you got to do the easier thing, the more solid thing, the higher percentage executing thing. And all the extra frivolous shit, like no-look passes, behind the back passes, extra fancy dribbles, trying to show people up. Don't do that extra shit if it's not necessary. Keep it tight and clean and at a high level of efficiency and effectiveness. And in some ways, I don't know Brandon makes that adjustment correctly into the postseason, where it's like, dude, don't do this weird shit. It's the playoffs. It's not the regular season. And, I also worry, and I've said this before, I worry that the habits were ingrained in him while he was in New Orleans, and that in some ways for him to switch from the kind of energy and the way that he played on the Pelicans, being on the Raptors may not be totally easy. And that he's really kind of got traits and habits that he's built up over 10 years that how the fuck are you going to change them and clean that shit up more? You got to do it, Brandon. Like, if you really are speaking the true words that you say out of your mouth, that you want to improve as a player and get to higher levels and evolve as a player. Well, part of it is rounding yourself into a more two-way player as a defensive player and a rebounder. But also part of you leveling up and getting better is cleaning up your act and stopping all this unnecessary shit, your proclivities that cause turnovers that are unnecessary and things like that. In some ways, part of it is you're not valuing the ball as much as some of the other Raptors are, and you're not protecting it and coveting it as much as you should. But the signs were there that you're maybe, whoa, wait, I'm in the playoffs. I can't do this. And you hurry and you hustle and you panic when you're just about to lose the ball, and you save the ball and good things still happen. Okay, so there's a sign there that you're understanding that your quality of play has to come up. It's the postseason. And any lackadaisicalness, any kind of casualness about it, it's got to stop, man. You got to tighten up. You really got to tighten up. And I think that's the biggest message for Ingram right now is he's got to continue to tighten up. And I believe he can. And he has the want to do it. He will do it. If he has the desire to become a better player, well, we'll show you the way through the challenges that you've got in the playoffs right now, Brandon Ingram. And Darko believes in you. Your teammates believe in you too. Nobody throwing you under the bus for your series so far. Everybody's encouraging you and saying that they believe in Brandon Ingram. They know he's going to show up for them. That's right. That's right. You've been watching BI since he was a rookie in LA. Yeah. If you're an NBA fan, if you've seen the journey of Brandon Ingram, so such a fresh-faced, skinny little guy when he's playing on the Lakers, a lot of promise, a real specimen of talent with his frame and his abilities offensively. And it's kind of interesting to see how he's grown over the years and how he's matured and how he, one of the things that you got to give a lot of credit to for Ingram is that he did build his body up in strength because he was a lot frailer when he was younger. And he was a lot more of a liability in certain ways because of that. And well, he's done a good job of building his body up over his career to be a stronger player. He's kind of like hidden strong. You don't see it. He's covert strong because he's so wiry and skinny, but there is some actual real strength in his wiriness. Like, because there's a lot of physicality out there, and he's playing with guys that have like 20, 30 pounds on him. He's got to have a certain amount of wiry strength in his frame. And you can see there's muscle on him. And he's not just a little skinny guy that gets pushed around. So Shaq Lindsay saying this, Scotty is our number one. Remember, your number one prioritize the team over himself, but sometimes he just goes beast mode and He-Man on his opponent, Scotty. I like all that. And that's what we've been asking for. And Scotty showed it last night. I think he got it. I think that was the right balance. I think that Scotty, if that felt weird to do it so much yourself, that's the right place to be. And it might have felt good, didn't it? And in some ways, it may have encouraged you. It may be like you see the light now. And you're kind of like, you know what? I need to balance this more in some ways with me being involved more. A little bit more with balancing with getting my teammates involved. I think he saw that and he recognized that. One of the things he said after the game last night was really interesting. He said, now I have to do this all the time. He did kind of say that. He did kind of say that in the post-game interview, that now that we've seen this level of what he's doing with balancing all this stuff all at once, he's going to try and do this night in and night out. That's really kind of the next assignment for Scott, is to try and find a consistency of spinning all those plates all at once. Playmaker, scorer, and defensive top-notch player too. He's got to spin all those at the same time. Yeah. Henry's saying, if he's not the guy, he won't go 100%. Y'all go ahead and play with fire. You'll have another DeRozan. Well, we love DeRozan, and I don't get mad at DeRozan. Everything DeRozan did for us was right, and there's nothing wrong with what DeRozan did. He was a fantastic player that built our culture, and he was a lot of the road to get to the championship. He may have not got the ring or the glory, but honestly, I give so much credit to our championship from DeMar DeRozan, even though he didn't collect on it. So, we don't get to that championship without DeMar, and people need to remember that. The failures the years before the championship were felt by DeMar, and in some ways, he's part of that sacrifice that we had to pay to get that 2019 championship. So I don't use DeMar DeRozan as a verb to sully anyone. This man is going to end up being in the top 10 all-time scorers in the NBA's history. And there's nothing that is embarrassing or humiliating or degrading about that. And in some ways, every player has their own story in the league. And DeMar's story is a story of tenacity and longevity and consistency. And that in that league, and to do that at that level for that long, you don't stumble into being where he is in the all-time scoring list by accident. So I will never ever sully one of the greatest Raptors of all time, DeMar DeRozan, and make it sound like that is a label on somebody that is negative. Never ever will do that. It depends on how you want to talk about it. You just say, "Oh, playoff failure." You're going to say this. "Oh, he can't do that." I don't care about that shit. This man's an extremely, extremely successful NBA player, and he's a Hall of Famer. He's a Raptors draft pick, and he's a We the North culture setter and icon to the Toronto Raptors franchise. And his number 10 will be up in the rafters next to number 7 and number 15 in the years to come. That's right. I would never use that name as some negative connotation. I'm sorry, I can't do it. That's right. Other people will do it, and that's fine. That's their right, but not me. I see it for what it is. Bryce is saying this: Brandon will be okay, yes, but he's got to tighten up. We could have won the game before, but he lets Dean fucking Wade lock him up. I mean, yeah, that second game, I hope it isn't the kind of thing where we feel like, man, that's the one we should have won. It would have changed everything. But hopefully we can still just win this series, because I really do feel like we're a way better team than Cleveland. I feel like that Cleveland is a lot of hype. And then, honestly, we've been a bad matchup for them this whole year. And that's why we swept them in the regular season. And that's why, even though we lost the first 2 games, it was really, we're a young team. We had to get oriented to what the NBA is in the playoffs. And that's what that is right there. Yeah, let's see. Bryce is saying back-to-back shitters in the playoffs isn't ideal. He has to tighten up. Yeah, he's got to tighten up. He's got to tighten up. And there's nothing wrong with what you're saying there. That's right. Oh, Henry's saying, Dean Wade, imagine. Brandon is not 6'5". He is 7 foot. Where is the rebounds and blocks? Rookie is a perfect fit. So you like Colin. Yeah, Brandon's doing better on rebounds this year. He's definitely been trying to fill out his stats more than before on the Pelicans. I know he used to just be a shooter and just do shooting stuff and just get stats on shooting. Didn't care about getting assists or rebounds or blocks or steals. But he really has fleshed out that part of his game more on the Raptors this year at times. And he's been very helpful other than just scoring for our team at times. We've seen him block shots in recent months, like in being a defensive presence around underneath the basket. So there, if you haven't been watching all the Raptor games, though, Henry, you got to understand Brandon did flesh out more aspects of his game this year. And you can't just saddle him as just a scorer at this point. There are other aspects he's really cultivating more great results from, is what I'm saying. Shaq Lindsay saying nothing beats sticking your middle finger to the New York fans after that disappointing loss. That's exactly what my girl did after Atlanta win courtside. Nikel's mom. Yeah, that's good stuff, man. I like that. I like that. Yeah, I'm not upset when the Knicks are losing. I'm definitely not. Go Atlanta. Win it, Alexander Walker. Win it, man. O. Henry's saying, does the things needed 10 points, 8 rebounds, defend, hustle, know his role? Yeah, Colin's been fantastic. And honestly, you can agree with me. You think he's all NBA rookie team 1? Because I think he is too. And I think that if they put him on the second all rookie team, it's going to be a flub. It's not going to be right. He should be on the first team with Khan and Cooper and VJ. Those guys. And, forget about, what do they keep putting people like Kalkbrenner or Queen up there? Fuck that. Put Colin Murray Boils in the first team all rookie NBA voters. Seriously. He deserves this shit. He totally deserves this shit. Superfan Mo saying, on my way home, I said Jamison Bell is going to get the chain. And look, he did. Yeah. That was a toss-up. Honestly, they could have given it to any of those 4 top guys, and I wouldn't have been upset. They could have given it to Colin. They could have given it to Scotty. They could have given it to RJ. If they'd given it to RJ, in some ways, that would have been sweet and kind of Canadian kind of thing. I mean, Scotty probably was the best player for us, and he probably is the number 1 guy who should have deserved it. Scotty's never gotten a chain in the playoffs. RJ's never gotten a chain in the playoffs. So it's like, Jamison got the first chain in Darko's first playoff win. In some ways, you could have made the argument that Darko should have got the chain last night for his first coach's win in the playoffs. That's what I'm saying right there. Yeah. Yeah, let's see. Trevor's saying, wondering what all the people who say that Cleveland was going to sweep the Raptors, what they're saying now. Well, they can't say that anymore. That's for sure. A lot of Cleveland fans were putting broom icons, emojis all over the place in chats. Broom, broom. Yeah, no broom. Put your broom up unless you're doing spring cleaning. That's right. Put your broom up unless you're doing spring cleaning. HC saying that game was wicked. I love playoff basketball. I'm thinking there is a method to the madness with Jakob's playing time. Yeah. Yeah, there's certain things he can establish. Like I said, there's a certain level of physicality we played with last night that he was the bully. He was kind of like one of the guys throwing his weight around for us. You know, you're going to have a tag team match in pro wrestling, and you look at the other side, and there's Big John Studd, Ken Patera, and King Kong Bundy. You better have Andre the Giant on your side, right? Because you're going to have to match that beef. And that's what I'm saying. Like, you know, it's not always about stats. It's not always about whether he looks awkward and goofy because he like lost the ball off his hands. Sometimes half of it has to do with weight to throw around, learned NBA experience that understands how to do things with rebounding and holding people physically and doing all that kind of stuff. And there's a lot of that stuff in Jakob that he is doing for us that does not get any praise or even gets noticed by the average NBA fan. They just don't see it. They don't see all the little things that he's doing that is huge to help us and absolutely necessary. You don't have Yak out there throwing some weight around. Well, you get more bullied by Evan Mobley and Jared Allen. That's part of it right there. Fierce is saying this, fun fact or not, so fun, depending on how you perceive it. Yesterday, our three-point percentage was 60.9% versus the free throws 57. Yeah, I went over this earlier saying that our highest shooting percentage was from three, and that beat field goal percentage and free throw percentage, which was the same. They shot 57% from the field and 57% from the free throw line. Definitely stuff they can clean up. As Scotty said, they're just scratching the surface, and there's levels to how high they can go as they clean up and play better basketball in really easy to clean up ways. Less turnovers, less offensive rebounds for the other team, and make your free throws. This is all stuff they clean up. They become an even more elite team as they do it. Slug DZ saying this, I thought Scotty was going to drop a 40 ball on them. RJ is a groat. Series don't start till the home team loses. 2-2 incoming. Let's go. Yeah, we can't take this for granted. We got to go in and put in the work on Sunday at 1 p.m. And Lex will be on the clock at that point. This voice will be on the clock. That's right. I'm coming down there, and I'm going to help y'all, Raptors. Oh, yeah, I'm going to be loud. I'm going to be very, very loud. People are going to be mad at me, even though it's the playoffs, because I'm going to be so loud. Yeah, that's where I like to push it. I'm going to be so loud at the arena, the people around me hate me because I'm so freaking loud, but they can't do jack shit because it's a Raptors game, and you're supposed to be loud at the game. And if you're not as loud as me, shame on you. And if you're mad at me for yelling in your ear, bring earplugs. It's going to be loud in the arena, and you better be ready for that because people like me are going to be there, and I'm going to be yelling my ass off from 15 rows away from the court. They will hear me. Trust me. They are going to hear Lex on Sunday morning when I go down there. That's right. They're going to hear me. That's right. HC saying BI just trying too much. He will settle down. Not used to this much playoff attention. Toronto's a whole different scene for somebody coming from losing. That's what I'm saying. That's what I'm saying. Brandon, amazed. The Raptors fans come out for every game and they show up. And he's used to New Orleans and half-packed arenas and, you know, crowds that are kind of, yeah. But yeah, in some ways, there's a lot of adjustments here. This is a different culture, Brandon. And in some ways, you need to raise your standards for how you carry yourself, for how you execute, and for how you do things in your life. Because in some ways, you're a Raptor now, my guy. And if you want to go get a Larry O'Brien with Scottie Barnes, you're going to have to raise it all up and do it on a whole other level of professionalism, is what I'm saying, Ingram. That's what I'm saying right there. That's right. That's right. Dunk for HC. You want to get a dunk for our fantasy champion, HC? All right, we can do that. And HC, I still got to get in touch with you. You got to send me an email and let me know what we're doing. This is his first dunk of the year. He's got the OG3, or I should say the notorious BI3 is what I should say there. G saying this, Ingram is a workhorse. He will work on his flaws and get better in different scenarios. I have faith in him to come to get better in the near future. This is why losing and tanking teams like the Pelicans can kill or hurt talent. Ingram, Zion, etc. Yeah, I agree with all that. I agree with all that. I mean, seriously, you're going to get bad habits collecting on bad teams. That's why, in some ways, like, look, when you're a rookie coming in the NBA, you want to get the perfect spot. And, initially, Colin Murray Boils, you may be like, oh, fuck, I'm going to the Raptors, and I'm probably going to have to break up with my girlfriend who's here in South Carolina. And, oh, fuck. But look, bro, you got in the right team because you're in the playoffs in your first year. You're playing meaningful basketball. You're being developed. You're getting a really good path and a good first year step in your NBA career. There's all kinds of other rookies that went to other teams and had different experiences this year. And they, some of them were very talented, but on very bad teams. And some of them were pretty good, but they didn't get to play because the team was so good that they didn't get a chance to get on the court. So, listen, it's not just getting drafted in the league. It's the spot. It's the team. It's the role. It's the opportunity. And, man, you should be pinching yourself because you got a perfect setup for you this year, Murray Boils, in Toronto and everything and how it's worked out. Not every rookie's having exactly like you this year. Trust me. And I know a lot of that's because you're special yourself. That's right. Best reason to keep him? Worth it to me. Worth it, though, me and he's Canadian. Yeah, RJ, that's a special bonus. It's a special bonus. And honestly, I like the whole idea of never getting stabbed in the back by him. In fact, RJ is more likely to get stabbed in the back by the Raptors than him stabbing our team in the back. He's like DeMar for that. DeMar would never, ever stabbed us in the back. We stabbed him in the back. And I don't want to ever stab RJ in the back. I don't. But business is business. And in some ways, DeMar can understand why the things happen with him, with our team. He can understand it very well. And, in the future, I don't want that kind of outcome for RJ because I'd like him to be here when the next ring comes to the Raptors because I'd like him to have that ring on his hand because you can look at the storybook ending of that and just the idea of like, wow, that kid from Canada did it and he's on Canada's team and he's a champion for Canada. That's a huge thing. All of that right there. All of that. Show him the money. That's right. Show RJ the money is what I'm saying. G saying the RJ haters are weirdos. They want him to do everything and take a discount and will not pick all and will nitpick all of his mistakes. Scotty fired shots to the haters, and I swear it was directed to Pensair the most. Yeah. Scotty did say that. He said the narrative about RJ is BS, and he's changing that narrative and flipping the script on it. Yeah, I love that. And I love that recognition, that public recognition by a player on the team saying it to the public and said, yeah, we've heard what y'all have been saying, and what you said about RJ wasn't fair. And, well, how's it looking now? That's what it is right there. How's it looking now? That's right. And it's funny if Scotty's throwing that shade at his number one fanboy, Robert Pensair, and his bullshit on Pensair basketball. Yeah, throw that at him, Scott. I've always said that motherfucker don't know you. This guy's kissing your ass and saying all this stuff about you and this and that, but he doesn't even know your psychology and how you stand for your teammates. And the fact that he throws all your teammates on the bus to try and make you look good, he would hate that channel for that. He would. That's what I'm saying. Scotty wants his guys to look good. He's for his team. He's with his team. He's not selfish. And, Pensair basketball being selfish for Scotty on his behalf on his channel is one of the most ludicrous things that I've ever seen in the last few years in Raptors content making land. Because I know personally that Scotty would hate that Robert throws his teammates on the bus to try and make Scotty look good. It's the stupidest thing. It's so stupid, man. Trevor's saying, I love how CMB blocked Cleveland big man at the hoop. That was huge. When Jared Allen was coming at the hoop and Colin showed fearlessness and a perfect block. Oh, my gosh. That was such a huge play. And the thing is that's part of the fun dynamic of Barnes and Murray-Boyles is they're these like hardworking blue collar guys that have this exceptional defensive talent. And that's out of the blue, they can have a game changing block or steal that absolutely flips the momentum and the runs of the game on its head. Jared Allen was going to get a monster dunk, and Colin Murray Boils pinned that ball against the backboard and stopped him. And that was awesome. That was such an amazing athletic play he did at that point. Really, really awesome play. I'm glad you brought it up. Monique is saying, I got to congratulate Leo on his new Syracuse Hall of Fame inductee on life, etc. He noticed who I was. Of course, he knows who you are, Monique. I'm sure he knows who I am too. But I'm sure he really knows you, and he's probably known you for many, many years. Yeah, that's really exciting for Leo. He was inducted into the New York State Sports Hall of Fame also. He's in the Syracuse Hall of Fame, and he got inducted into the New York State Sports Hall of Fame too, as a Canadian and as a player for Syracuse. So yeah, Leo's getting all the accolades, and it is deserved. He is a true Canadian legend and basketball pioneer, and we love Leo Raptors. That's right. Dirt Slayer saying best thumbnail. Let's go Raptors. Poeltl looked a lot better in this game. Great to see you, Dirt Slayer 123. Thank you for a subscription, and I appreciate you enjoying my channel. And yeah, I like people that stand for Poeltl too. So you're one of my people because you're with us on the Poeltl train. That's right. Neil's got ghosts out today. What is with the ghosts? What is this ghost thing here? Let's see what he's saying this morning. Good old Neil. Thank you for the cutoff, guys. He's saying BI struggles with stronger players, so he needs to convert his touches to assists by being a decoy. Yeah, that's this thing. You guys got too tunnel vision and too like set on this is what we got to do and forcing it through when that's not the right action. There's always the option that they're giving you, and you have to pay attention to it, because going hard into the wall and just trying to beat people through the wall, it can be done. Ask RJ, but it's hard. It's not the easiest route. And sometimes the best route is to go where they aren't. And, well, they really don't want you to get something with Brandon. Well, go look for Scotty. Go look for RJ. Go look for Jacoby. Go look for the other options. You know, sometimes it is, don't take the hardest route because it's going to be not effective and it won't be successful. So go find the thing that they're giving and execute on the mismatch or whatever it is, the weak spot that they aren't covering up exactly, because there always is one. Trust me. If they have to send a double at Brandon Ingram or top block him or whatever they're doing, there's definitely some other option that's the right option to go around and do it. And I think Scotty realized that right option going around other than Brandon is himself. And that's the thing that's very powerful about last night. And what we figured out is, yeah, and Brandon can be the decoy. Brandon can be the center of attention for the Cavs defense. And, well, Scotty's going to run down those lanes to the basket and dunk it on them. Yeah, pick your poison, Cavs, because it's going to be somebody on the Raptors going to get you, whether it's Bully Barrett or it's going to be Brandon all of a sudden because you're laying off him all of a sudden, and boom, he's got the room again, and he's starting to hit his shot again because y'all had to go and guard Barnes now. You know what I'm saying? You got to figure it out, and you can't cover everybody. So we're going to figure it out, and we'll make the adjustments and go around you. Kaloy saying this, morning, fellow freaks. Our boys did it. We finally got one, and we are seeing our boys bloom in the playoffs where it really matters. Too bad about Brandon, but I have a feeling he'll be okay. Yeah, he's going to be fine. He had a big smile on his face at the end of the game, even though he wasn't paramount and central to the whole success of it. But he had his contributions. He still put 15 points in. He still was getting shots and making them this time. He didn't miss all of his shots. He did make contributions, just not on the highest level that he has this whole year. And that's it right there. Michael's here again. Good morning, Michael. Thank you for the subscription again. Gee, where can I see what Scotty said about RJ? It's in the post-game news conference from last night. If you want, you can go to Raptors official YouTube channel and just look for post-game interviews, and you can look at the whole list and watch all of them, or you can just watch the Scotty one by itself. He's wearing a leather jacket after the game, and he praises both Brandon and RJ in that interview very heavily, very, very heavily. So, yeah, it's the post-game interview from last night where he talks about RJ. Superfan Mo's giving my cutoff. W stream, W vibes. Go Raptors for life. Keep at it always, Lex. Raptor Free Crew strong forever. Just helping me limit the comments. Yeah, we're probably going to make 3 hours today. We're at 2.5 hours almost right now. Kaloy saying Scotty and CMB will terrorize teams for years to come. They are a very difficult combo of defense. That's for sure. Kaz is saying good morning, Lex and Raptor Free Crew. TGIF, Kaz. Be safe on the road today, my guy, Trucker Kaz. Fiercely saying, Lex, thank you for helping my fantasy access. Can't wait till tomorrow. I'm so glad that you were able to get in there. And, yeah, I just put the second email on there, and you're in there, and we're good. And, yeah, we'll do the draft tomorrow morning. So tune in for the Raptor Freak WNBA fantasy draft. tomorrow morning, sharp on the show. That's our segment for tomorrow on the off day. Let's see. G saying Michael on the NBA channel. He says RJ is destroying that narrative that people have about him and leading our team. Yeah, he was glowing about RJ and even talking about his defense switching, etc. You know, that's the thing. The criticisms of RJ. Once again, this is a phenomenon with the Raptors and their players in general and their team. If people think they can check us like 1 year, like 5 years ago, and they just know us for like the next 5 years, they're not checking up on us regularly. And the narrative and the tag on RJ is the toxic asset tag that was from New York. And everybody's kind of, a lot of American fans down south, their last impression of who RJ Barrett is and what he does is from New York and all the bullshit they said on his way out. He's a toxic asset. He's not worth his contract. He's inefficient. He can't play defense. All this bullshit. But they just took that as the gospel and as fact, and they didn't done research further to actually keep checking on it and seeing, well, is there progress with RJ Barrett in Toronto? Has RJ been doing better? No, I don't watch Toronto. I don't know. He just sucks. He's a toxic asset. That's where a lot of this energy comes from, is lazy people that don't keep up with the Raptors regularly and know the current events and the actual things that are actually happening with the team. So it's real easy for average NBA fan that doesn't watch the Raptors down there to say, well, RJ's just a toxic asset because he was in New York. Well, you don't have the latest edition, motherfucker. So maybe you need to renew your subscription and to understand the real truth about the Raptors, because you ain't paying attention. And it's one thing for average NBA fans to do it, but average NBA journalists do this shit too. And that's why the perception war and the ideas about who the Raptors are so messed up sometimes, because they're not watching us. They're not paying attention. They don't really know. They don't really know. Kaloy saying RJ is averaging 26.7 points per game in the playoffs. Yeah, he's been badass, man. Playoff riser. That's right, James. It's like DZ saying Danny Green said Colin Murray Boils' best comparison is Zach Randolph with more athleticism. Yeah, I don't know. I thought you said RJ was being compared to Zach Randolph. That's why I was confused earlier. I mean, I don't know. I think he's better than Zach Randolph in some ways. I think he is in some ways. I don't know why. I think Zach Randolph's bigger than Colin. He has a bigger frame than him, right? Doesn't he? Kespra's here. Good morning, Kespra, the fact checker. Glad we snatched Danny to comment on our side in this series. Although uneventful, he was actually on this Donovan Mitchell era of the Cavs for a season. Yeah, well, Danny Green's been a Cav at times, for sure. For sure. He would, yeah. I don't know. I'm not paying attention to other content creators. Like, I'm not watching Hello and Welcome or Mike Roach or any of them. If they do interviews and stuff like that, I'm not seeing it. So I didn't see anything that they did last night. I watched the game here with Adriana, and we enjoyed the win. That's right. She's really good luck. She came out here last night to watch the game with me, and that added to helping the win, along with Monique being in the arena. Trust me, that's a big deal right there. That's a big deal right there. Fiercely saying NBA on Prime broadcasts were very professional and unbiased in calling the game. Their research crew is good, as the announcers provided valuable stats, feedback, and props to the Raptors. Yeah, I did hear a little bit of the broadcast from Peacock, or no, not Prime or whatever, whichever one. I don't care. They're just same to me. But yeah, Amazon Prime coverage. I saw the highlights on the NBA highlight reel and how they were calling it a little bit. And they seemed like they were a little bit more energy for the Cavs at times, but definitely giving us our equal time and speaking us up. I think that they were very impressed with the energy from our arena. And also, you know, it's got to be fun to call that game with all the interesting stuff happening with Scotty and Colin Murray Boils and RJ. You know, RJ making threes, that's a great call for the Amazon Prime crew. I don't even know their names or anything. Denali's here. We got Laker Freak in the house. Laker Nation's represented right here. So glad for the Raptors and their fans. Such an underrated team. The Cavs are really good. The Cavs and Raptors are two of the top 3 teams in the East, in my honest opinion. There you go. Wow, you guys. All right, Denali, because I know you're a huge fan of the Lakers, and you guys are really getting good stuff out of James right now. And, man, I'm actually really impressed with LeBron right now. The fact that Luka and Austin are out and the way he's doing things with you guys against the Rockets is very impressive. So I want to give you guys some kudos. and Laker Nation. Hopefully, you guys can ride this some more. I still think that possibly the Rockets will beat you guys, but you guys are in the driver's seat. That's for sure. And, I guess that young core of the Rockets and Kevin Durant's just not the same leader as LeBron is. It's obvious. It's obvious. I don't know what's going on with Kevin Durant, but go on, Lakers. I'm impressed. You guys is the fourth seed in the West holding court and so far. And LeBron's very impressive to do what he's doing at his age right now. Now, some people are saying something, allegations, but anyway, we won't bring that up. Either way, I appreciate your kind words for the Raptors. And in turn, I'll say I'm super impressed that you guys have won your first two games without the key players that are out right now for Los Angeles. Yeah, that's a big deal right there. Monique saying Lindsey Dunn says the same thing about Draymond Green too, Lex. We all hate him. So she doesn't like Draymond either. That's good. That's good. Yeah, Lindsey's cool. I like Lindsey. Lindsey's a fun reporter. And I feel like she does a good job in the entertainment and sports world around Toronto. Of course, she's an entertainment reporter too. And she rubs shoulders with movie stars and musicians also. But yeah, she really does like covering the Blue Jays a lot, heavy too. She was at spring training. But yeah, she does her part with the Raptors. And of course, her doing her sideline reporting for 905 all season. Yeah, she's a real one. We've shared the love for Lindsey Dunn in the past on this channel. That's right. Kaloy saying Darko has his secret weapon, Jameson Battle. You know, what about his ultra secret weapon? Yeah, his name's Dick. Yeah, at some point, this could be something that could happen. I don't know why, but I want this storyline where Darko is in such trouble or something. He has to call on Grady, and he puts Grady in, and all of a sudden, every single thing that happened this year with Grady is forgotten because he's all of a sudden some sort of crazy playoff legend hero because he does something like what Jameson did last night. I mean, I would love that for Grady. I don't know if he has enough trust to get the runway to get out there to be able to get that to happen. But that would be a really cool story. That if a whole year Grady sucks and then he's a playoff hero all of a sudden and he shows some sort of value to himself in the playoffs, because in some ways this is good for Bobby because, salvage some of the reputation of Grady Dick. Oh, yeah, he had a shit regular season, but boy, did you see what he did in the playoffs? And that is valuable still. And then all of a sudden, better things are happening for Grady in his professional career. I still want that for him. If he could do what Jameson did last night and when the game's coming up, that'd be fantastic. But I don't know if he'll get the chance. I don't think he will. It's more likely AJ Lawson will get that chance before him right now. Yeah, Trevor's saying panic time for the Nuggets in New York, down 2 games each. Yeah. Minnesota flexed that muscle last night and took a 2-1 lead over the Nuggets. And in some ways, I'm not surprised by this. I don't think this Nuggets team is all that in a bag of chips. And once again, it's like, man, since their championship, they lost their luster the next year and they kind of downgraded. And I think that it's just really, really difficult for the Nuggets to get back to that level that they were their championship year and the talent on that team. A lot of it has to do with the salary cap and just being able to get that kind of level of talent all together on a price that fits in the salary cap. So it is what it is. They flipped Porter Jr. out to get Cam Johnson. And has that really been that much of an upgrade? I don't know. In some ways, I'm not surprised. I'm rooting for the Timberwolves in this series, even though we got kid from Kitchener, Jamal Murray in there. I still am rooting for Timberwolves because, once again, I think this Timberwolves team is the best Timberwolves team in their history, in their franchise right now. I think they're the best team they've ever had. Yeah, Knicks are panicking. Woo-wee, that's great. UC saying Battle has not missed a 3 against the Cavs all season. He's 10 for 10 or something like that. It's pretty wild. Hopefully he plays more to space out the floor. Make or miss, they have to pay attention to Battle. You guys like how they kind of just throw him in at the end of the game? And it just really makes a big difference, and it separates us. It's kind of like, okay, we've been riding next to them the whole game. Throw Jameson in there and hit the gas and speed off away from them with the score. I like that. I like that a lot. That's right. Let's see. HC saying, hey, have you seen how small they made Jurassic Park and making it ticket only? Disappointed in how they changed it. So horrible. Ruined the whole meaning of it. MLSC needs to fix that. Well, it's been ruined for a few years now. It's not really the same Jurassic Park as the organic grassroots Jurassic Park that was fan organized and just organically happened before the team even knew about it. And that's when I was going out there. And there were no barriers, and it was just like an organic, natural meeting up of a lot of fans that just wanted to watch it on the screen outside the building and didn't have tickets. That's how much people loved the team. And we'd be out there in the rain and the snow, and it wasn't official or anything. I'd be out there smoking joints on the corner in the middle of the crowd, like watching the game on the TV just outside the arena. That's the original Jurassic Park. But then they started putting bleachers and barricades and making it ticketed. Now the tickets are free. Nobody's paying to get in there. You got to apply on the Raptors app, and then they draw who gets in there. So nobody's paying any money to go in there if you think that's part of it. But yeah, the area is smaller. The Jurassic Park that originally happened when it was in its heyday was all the way down the street towards the Sky Dome. And it was like the whole street was filled in the street and the sidewalks. And they estimated at those points in time, Jurassic Park's full attendance around that time could have been like 10,000. It could have been like a whole other arena of attendance outside in the street as the arena attendance inside. It was like 10,000 people would be out there. But yeah, it's way smaller now and it's closed off. And I wish that it didn't have all those barriers because, you know, MLSE, if you could do this right, I don't know how you do it. It may be impossible. You could have a huge crowd down there once again with so many people down the street, like the original non-MLSE Jurassic Park, the fan-derived one. You know, it's just different, man. Yeah. Denali's saying, how much do they charge to go in Jurassic Park? It's zero. You just got to go on the app. You have to be a resident of Ontario, and they draw and they tell you, you got a ticket. You can go down to Jurassic Park, and then you head down there and you can go. So, yeah, the fans at Scotiabank Arena look incredible. We're serious, man. We're serious. I think that a lot of it is that, like, you know, we have a very diverse city, and we have people that come from all around the world that live in Toronto. We surpassed London, England as the most diverse city in the entire world. Like, this is statistically true at this point. Toronto is more diverse than New York City, more diverse than Toronto. I mean, more diverse than London. And, you know, there's a very young age bracket to the Raptors team, too. Like, it's very cool with young people. And there's a lot of enthusiasm. There's a lot of passion. There's a lot of dedication. And the other thing that's very attractive about the Raptors as a fan nation is we're underdogs. There's no changing that. That's always going to be the case as the only Canadian team in the NBA. And if you're in your own life and you kind of have an underdog life yourself, well, you're going to root for a team that you identify with. And that's why I feel like we have Raptors fans all across the United States, all around the world, all across Canada, in Europe, in Asia, in Africa, in Australia. We have fans everywhere. And it's because we have this underdog brand. And in some ways, people want to root for the underdog. And when the Raptors won in 2019, the payoff for that is just so incredible because we were never supposed to do that. And the whole association in some ways is built against us doing that. So I think that's a big part of it. And when you get that underdog spirit and you really have that passion and you really identify with that culture and that idea of what We the North and Raptors Nation is, that's what it is. That's what you're seeing, Denali. That's what you're seeing out there. Because in some ways, it's about a culture and a team that just wants respect and just wants to be validated as far as, yeah, you are a good playoff team. You are a good franchise in this league. Because the NBA media, the US media, everybody will overlook us. Everybody will say, oh, this and that and that. And we have to work so hard to get any kind of notoriety or any publicity. And some people identify with that. And that's how they come to Raptors Nation. Whether they live in Kentucky, whether they live in Philadelphia, whether they live in Australia, the Philippines, they live in Zimbabwe, it doesn't matter. There's people like this all around the world that can identify with that mindset. And that's the energy and the spirit of what you're seeing on the TV right there. That's it right there, man. That's it. Raptors in 7, in my honest opinion. I think the Raptors lose in game 5. It is really hard to win road games in the playoffs. Yeah. And that would mean we'd have to win the game 7 in Cleveland if that is the outcome that you're predicting. I'm hoping that they can win the rest of these and we win in 6. That's what I'm hoping. That's my prediction right now, because it would be nice to win the game 6 in Toronto in front of the home crowd. But game 5 is going to be very crucial. Very, very crucial. Very crucial. Kareem's saying this, laugh out loud. We railroaded them bitches in the 4th. The thing is, Cavaliers are soft. You punch them in the mouth and they get flustered. They got 2 7-footers, but they're just big in stature. Nobody's scared. Okay, these are shots fired all over the place. I'm not going to get with you on this. That's fine. Let's have class, and I'm not going to kick anybody when we got only 1 win and they've got 2. So, yeah, let's just go ahead and continue to compete, and hopefully the outcomes continue to be W's for Toronto is what we want to do right there. Yeah, there was a little bit of what you're saying. There was that one moment where James was on the floor rolling around, and nobody paid any attention to it. Nobody cared. I liked that. There's an age in the NBA, especially in the 2010s, where a superstar player like James Harden falls on the floor and starts rolling around like a fish. The referees will stop everything and say, "Oh my gosh, James, are you okay? Oh my gosh." Well, that league's done, James. And nobody's falling for it anymore. And we're sick of it. You go ahead and roll around on the floor a little bit. Nobody's paying attention. We don't care. You go ahead and lay there and not be back on defense for your team. I love that. And Pat Frere and Josh Tibbin and Courtney Kirkland, those are vet refs. And they're like, "Yeah, James, we're not falling for your shit. Come on, man. We're not falling for your shit." That's right. Iron Man FC's here. Good to see Raptor Freak Iron Man. I have Del Curry's autograph. I got it when I was in high school. I was so proud watching the Raptors last night. That's the level of play I've been talking about all year. In some ways, they're not even playing as well as I hope they would. Seriously, they could play way better than they did last night. There's levels. All right, caller, you're on the air.
Yeah, what's going on?
Oh, it's the sheriff, Seymour Pape, calling in from Calgary, Alberta, Canada. Hello, sir. Would you like to do 4 quarters with the Raptor streak?
Can do 4 quarters streak, but we
All
can
right.
go over a few little things.
Sure.
I think when Jaden McDaniels came out and he called out Denver,
Mm-hmm.
he put the whole league on notice, because from what I'm seeing, defense is what's winning games for a lot of teams. The only reason the Cavs took 2 from us is because they shut down what we were trying to do by feeding Brandon Ingram and getting him going. They shut it down, and we fell short. Now, when we went away from that, which we seen last night, we got the W.
Mm-hmm.
You know what I'm saying?
Yeah.
The series with New York and Atlanta. See, New York thought it was going to be a home run for them because Trae Young is gone, and that was Atlanta's defensive Achilles heel.
Yeah.
So once they got rid of him, New York ain't going nowhere now. And we're seeing it even in the Detroit series with Orlando and the Denver series.
Yeah.
Yeah, because Denver looks out of it because they're clamped up.
Interesting. So, like, Gobert's presence and the defense of the Timberwolves are the factor right now.
Yeah, for sure. And on the accolades going to Wemby is a battery in Gobert's back.
Yeah.
Gobert is like, before Wemby was even picked up by a team, Gobert was working out with Wembanyama and developing him.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? So I think seeing the progress that Wemby's made in the league, Gobert's like, well, I could do everything he does. I may not be 7'7", but I am a defensive anchor. And defense is playing key in these playoffs.
I'm agree with you. I think that's true. Talking about the Raptors series and the first 2 losses, I think that the big factor in why we lost those 2 games, because honestly, we could have swept them if we like, think about this. If the Raptors young core had already been in the playoffs like last year, and we were playing them with a year under our belt of playoff experience, we wouldn't lose the first 2 games of the series. I really believe that.
There's a lot of pressure with all the lights. There's more. People got to understand. There's way more lights, way more media, way more fans.
And they jumped on us with the experience of Harden and Mitchell, and that was the factor in the first 2 games. It's really like, okay, yeah, we got you because we got the experience, and you guys are just learning, and you just got here. But it could very well be a quick turnaround where these guys have figured it out. And because of the aspect that you're talking about with the playoffs being so defense-oriented right now, this is in our favor, if you ask me. You can look at Murray-Boyles yesterday and understand the Raptors may have some defensive abilities above what the Cavs are doing against us, you know? So, yeah. So,
and I said it too last week. I think I made a comparison. I know Smooth didn't like it, but I said I look at Scotty and Brandon. I put them on that tier with Jaylen Brown and Tatum, and I said the X factor we have in it though is that we have CMB. Because CMB, you could literally shuffle out Scotty or Brandon and put CMB in there, and he's an X factor player. You know what I mean?
Yeah, and you're not even giving any credit to our best player in this series so far, RJ Barrett.
Right.
Yeah.
You know what I mean?
That's why I say like our Raptors team is super loaded with talent. Like super loaded with talent. I mean, I think our starting five is one of the best starting fives in the league. And then you got a rookie like Colin Murray Boils. You got an up-and-coming star like Jakob Poeltl. You got a great backup point guard in Jamal Shed. You got a great energy guy off the bench and a backup big in Sandro. You know, there's a lot of talent on our team that I feel like the reason why, like, look, last night we didn't play a clean game and we still won. We could have played way better than we did. We could have made more free throws and we could have cut down on the offensive rebounds. There's still progress and levels we can get to. And honestly, we're going to have to do that if we're going to really beat the best teams in this league. So,
for sure, because I think we are one of the better teams in the league. And for people who's coming down hard on Brandon Ingram, please, man, y'all got to give this guy some time because, yes, he's been in the league for a while and everything, but remember, he did sit away from the game for a little bit, and he's just coming back. We're presenting everything he wants in a relationship. He wanted he wanted to go and play in front of real true fans because, like you said, in New Orleans, the attendance has been poor. He wanted to be on a successful team where he's the man. We've delivered everything to him.
He got his all-star. He's got a coach that's really capable.
Right.
He's got teammates that are committed and they're listening and they're trying. Yeah.
You know, but now we're expecting a lot from him, but we can't put too much on him. Just let him easy because we're going to need him. Once we get past Cleveland, we're going to need Brandon for the other series.
We're going to need him to finish this series. And, you know, I get what you're saying. The only thing I would say to Brandon is, and I've said it a couple times this past couple weeks, is the assignment's not over, just that you got here and you got an all-star and you're on a team and you got all this stuff that Seymour just described. The assignment this is not it. You got to go above and beyond and go do what's next on it. You can collect the bag and live the NBA lifestyle and have the famous girlfriend and do all that. But this is not why you're doing it. This is not why you're here. It's not just to show up and get all this stuff and be in this environment. It's to win in this environment. It's to take this team above and beyond where it is and get higher because of you and your talent, Brandon. So, yeah, that's the way I look at it right now. It's like he can't rest on his laurels. He can't stop and say, I've done enough and this is it. I've got it here finally. No, he can't be like that. This is where the hard stuff happens, is now.
And it seems exactly like what you're saying. It seems like all his boxes are checked, and he's like, okay, I've accomplished everything. I'm an all-star this year. I got a team into the playoffs.
I'm healthy.
You know, it's, you know, but like you said, we're some hungry, what do they call us, rabid fans or whatever they
delusional and even somewhat crazy to think we're going to win a championship every year. Yeah, there's a fan nation like that here.
Yeah, we're hungry, man. We see it. This team could go all the way. Realistically, I think this team could go all the way. They just got to keep playing the way they played in Game 3.
Keep building.
You know?
Yeah.
Yeah, and we can't rely on Brandon because that's who they're targeting defensively. They're looking at it like, hey, we shut down Brandon, they can't beat us. That's what the Cleveland's saying, right? And we've seen it Game 3. We went away from that. Other guys came and stepped up. They were hungry. They said, okay, you guys can shut down Brandon.
So many different routes to get to that victory, and it's not always the same path. And within a series, you may have to win 4 different games in 4 different ways to win a 7-game series.
Yeah, that's a fact.
And that's why versatility is important. That's why having different types of players on your roster at your disposal to use in certain roles is important, especially in the postseason. And that's why, you know, people like Quickly, he adds in, he comes back, he's healthy. He can be a real X factor and a change in the series because they haven't seen him yet. And he adds his part to it. You know, and the stuff that Jakob does, it may look like he's hurt and he's no good anymore, but there are things he's doing that are helping in this situation, and we need his kind of skill set too for certain things in this situation too. So
I have a question for you.
Yeah.
If you were Darko and let's say IQ is healthy, are you putting him in the starting lineup, or do you think he sort of messes with the chemistry? Because those 3 games he hasn't played, that putting him in right now, that's like putting in a player from game 1.
Yeah.
You know what I mean?
No.
All the bright lights, the extra attention.
Yeah.
He hasn't seen that yet.
Yeah, but he has, because he's played in New York. He played in Madison Square Garden for years. So he's felt the brightest lights that you can. And he's also felt the brightest pressure in the playoffs for being on the Knicks team. So it's not like he has to go through that orientation that like Shed and Walter and Colin did in these games. He's been here, done that. The thing that's different too about this aspect too is I get what you're saying. You put in a player who's been out and they have to get the rhythm, and maybe they throw the team off a little bit because of that. Well, we've had a pattern of Emmanuel missing time from here and there and throwing him back in the starting lineup without bringing him off the bench. And he has not been a problem in these situations. We can think about this in the regular season. When Emmanuel's come back from being out, has he ever been somebody who screwed us up when he comes back? Not really. It may be that he doesn't have his shot and rhythm yet, and he may not have his total conditioning fully, but he's contributing in ways that are helping towards winning, even if he's not hitting all the shots himself. He's controlling pace. He's working with leadership and trying to organize everybody. And he's also finding his teammates if he's not totally on his shot with his rhythm yet because he just came back.
I agree with you somewhat on that. And the reason why I say that, because earlier in the season, when the season first started, when we went, I think we went 1-4, 2-4 to start the season, something like that. The main person we were looking at was IQ, and it's more of a rhythm thing. See, I think he's an amazing player. I think he deserves the money he's getting, but IQ's a guy who he needs to catch the rhythm. Yeah, and it takes a couple of games for him to get in his rhythm before he does his skip to his Lou dance and everything. Yeah, it takes him a couple of games to get in that groove.
No, I agree with that. I agree with that. But that's the great beauty of it, is that he's not the kind of player to be effective for the team. He has to score. He can come in and be a more of a passing point guard, traditional point guard in his first games back. But he can also be testing his three and testing some of the stuff with his offense to see if it's getting going. And, you know, he's the kind of explosive guy, especially with his weird set shot with his feet, the way he puts them, and he shoots and pushes. He could hit that shot and be cold from not being in the series yet, and he could hit it right off the bat. And all of a sudden, that's an outcome that could happen, is that he comes back and he's firing right away, and he hasn't missed a beat, and his rhythm is inexplicably right there with him in the first game back. Like he's got it like that too. It can go either way. But once again, it's kind of like feeling it out and saying, all right, Emmanuel, take a three. Let's test it and see where you're at with that. Let's test with your floater, teardrop in the lane on a drive into the paint, and see if you got it. And if it's not really there and your rhythm isn't right yet, well, we're going to divert you more to being a playmaker, a floor spacer, and a threat, and also maybe just like kind of like being a floor general and leading everybody too. So there's ways he can contribute without him being totally in his rhythm in a game right back. And yes, if he comes back, he's starting. He is starting if he comes back.
Yeah, for sure.
Yeah.
For sure he's starting. Okay, I got one more thing to throw at you. I know we said we wasn't going to do no off-season talk because we're in the middle of a battle and everything, but I got to throw this at you. They're saying that for the expansion draft, top 8 players are protected on each team. Question to you, is Grady one of our top 8 players? Is he?
Oh my gosh. Now, you brought this up in the chat a couple of days ago, and we're all like, man, you're way too early. Like, this expansion draft will happen in 2028, not even this summer or next summer.
2028?
Yeah. This expansion draft won't happen until 2028. So there's no point in doing this because our roster will be completely different by then.
Okay, yeah.
But if you want to do this just for a fun question, I would tell you right now, our top 8 players that I would protect are the starting 5. A lot of people are arguing with me about not protecting Jakob, but I'd say protect Jakob. Trust me. Colin, Jamal, and Jacoby. Those are the 8 I would protect. So.
Oh, so you letting Battle go?
Yeah, because in some ways it's like the value guys are those 8. Those are the 8 that we need to hold on to. Now, some people would argue, no, don't keep Jakob and keep somebody else from the bench. But there's a lot of value in Jakob that people understand. Now, if Bobby had the idea of like, yeah, we're gonna Oliver Miller Jakob Poeltl and leave him available for the expansion draft as his contract, and if they want to take him on and take him as a new pivot for their new expansion team in Vegas or the Seattle Supersonics, that's something different. And that may be more like in the journey of the next 2 years and seeing actually the value of we're getting Yak on his contract. That could be a smart move to do by Bobby, where he doesn't protect Yak and dares them to go ahead and take him at that point. But there's so much time before then that we've got to continue and see the value of Yak and what he brings on the contract. But this could be an option at that point. And people that are so like, oh, his contract's so toxic, it's so the worst. If Bobby decided to do that when this time came, which is still like 2 years from now, I would be getting behind it, because at that point it would be because that is the right decision then. But it's nowhere near the right decision now. And there's so many things that can happen with Poeltl next year and even the year after that before this happens. So
he doesn't look 100%.
He's
okay,
not.
But he doesn't look 100%.
They're lying. They're lying. I know they keep saying my back is fine. And this is Jakob's back's fine. And I said they're lying. I know they're lying. I can tell they're lying. Because you can do the eye test and you can see how he's doing. But kudos to him. He's out there fighting and battling and doing what he can to try and help us win, even if he's not 100%, and he's lying about it. We know he's lying. All right, Seymour, I'm going to have to let you go, man. I'm approaching 3 hours, and I want to finish up my stream very shortly. But I appreciate you calling into
me. Weekend, and let's get this W on Sunday.
Yeah, I'm going to do my part when I head down there, and I'm in the crowd this weekend. And I hope the weather is fantastic out in Calgary for you, sir, and that you have a fantastic weekend also, full of laughs, fun, and love. How about that?
Always. Cheer.
Yeah, what? That's the sheriff, Seymour Pape, straight from the ends of Scarborough, all the way out west to Calgary, Alberta, Canada, the city slicker, holding it down for the 416 out in the mountain regional time out there and the Alberta prairies. That's right. Let's see what else we're saying in the chat real quick. Let's see. I'm right here. I am. No. Kareem saying BI is going to be fine. Okay, I think I read that one. Yeah, no more comments, y'all. I really want to get finished up real quick. Kaloy saying Ingram not responding well to getting physically manhandled. He needs to expect that they are going to foul him every time, and the refs are not going to call it. Yeah, he does, and you don't see him complaining. That's the one thing I'll give him a lot of credit for is Brandon is getting knocked around, and they're trying to get him off his game and get him to be pissed off, but he's not losing his temper. He has not lost his temper yet, and they're unreasonably holding him. They're like grabbing his arms like this when he's trying to run. They're doing some crazy shit to him, and they're not always calling it, but they are calling it sometimes, though. But he's not complaining, and he's not letting it get him out of his head mentally to compete, which I'll give him credit for. Trevor's saying that Taylor Jenkins is going to be the new head coach of the Milwaukee Bucks. It has been reported that that's likely, so we'll see. I don't know if it's totally official yet, but that is the news, is that they want Taylor Jenkins to be the next coach of the Milwaukee Bucks. We'll see how that fit is. I thought it'd be Darvin Ham. I really did. Kareem's saying, wait, is Jameson shooting 100% against Cleveland? How ironic is that Atkinson gets PTSD when Battle is on the field? Okay, yeah. Trevor's saying Kayla Gray has joined Amazon Prime reporters for WNBA games. I did see that. She got an uptick there. That's going to be interesting. I guess that's going to be her summer gig. She's probably still going to be doing TSN and still be a part of the Raptors broadcast. It's just she's going to be doing WNBA for Amazon Prime this summer. Yeah, Reggie's saying, we all know what LeBron is doing. I mean, I want to be nice. I don't have to say that. In some ways, it's like I don't want to sully the legacy of the game. In some ways, who cares? You know, they only have so far they'll get. Watch, you know. Kaloy saying, I will help you in manifesting that. We want that secret dick. Okay, that sounds wrong, Kaloy. Phrasing. Smooth saying access to the best stuff in the world, man. What LeBron has, he's getting stem cells. He's got that Barry Bonds shit. I see. Yeah, you're hating. I know, but I think it's true. It does seem like it could be true. Honestly, it could be true. You guys think he's on the roids, and that's why he's doing what he's doing, huh? Kareem saying LeBron drinking from the fountain of youth. We called this the '90s steroids. Yeah, LeBron probably spending millions for that undetectable stuff. Man, all right, guys, let's not do this. Let's not do this. Denali's been very nice and fair and has said nice things about our team. So let's turn it the other way and say, you guys can make these allegations. But you know what? LeBron James is an amazing NBA player, and I am impressed, even if it's enhanced. Honestly, this is incredible what he's doing at his age right now. It is very incredible. Seriously, he's spending over $1 million a year on his conditioning. That's public record. Okay. The other stuff is off the books. Okay. Isaac's saying, I think it's time to play some ball, Lex. Yeah, it's getting nice outside. It's very, very nice. I'm probably not. Am I able to go play there? I don't know if I can go play around the corner. I might see if I can. Let's see. There's a camp around the corner from me, and maybe I can go play on their court. I might go shoot around there. Kaloy saying, imagine if Yak was 100%. Yeah, he might be a little bit more effective in some ways than we would think. Fiercely saying, I stand with BI. We would not be in the playoffs if it wasn't for him. His efforts in regular season performance led us there. I like that. I like you being loyal to him. Fiercey's liking the Seymour call, and she wants me to go rest. Monique wants me to go rest. I probably should. It's 3 hours right now, and there's the cutoff. All right, let me just check my tabs, and we'll wrap it up. I think I got most of it. Let's see if there's any breaking news in Raptors world real quick. Doesn't look like it. Nothing from Karthika's got some stats. It looks like that's it. We'll keep going. Let's see. I did the Redditor of the day and the Tempo Redditor of the day. There's no birthday today. A reminder, we're doing our fantasy draft tomorrow, so you guys be ready for that. Oh, here's something real quick. Guys, straight goods on Canadian goods. Well, the Raptors won last night, and they made good. So we're doing made good bars today. These are Canadian breakfast bars, and I have different varieties here. I got the strawberry. I got cookies and cream, and I've got like a baked oat bars. But yeah, Made Good's a great Canadian company. If you like to have a breakfast bar in the morning like I do, this is a great company to buy this from Canada and keeping economy here. So yeah, get familiar with Made Good as a brand for a breakfast bar. And the Raptors made good last night because they won. So yeah, here's 3 different varieties and get some Made Good bars. And if they don't have them at your grocery store, ask your grocer to carry them so that we can have more Canadian products on the shelves and support our local industry and economy. More jobs for Canadians because we bought the Canadian bars and stopped buying the American bars. That's important. Yeah, Made Good also good for people with food allergies. That's right. Yeah, these are like gluten-free and nut-free. Just so you know, anybody who has a nut allergy, you can eat these bars. That's right. There you go. Yeah, they had a recall on those. That wasn't a few months ago. I think it was like a year or so ago. It was a couple years ago. They've changed them a lot, actually, in the last year or so. So, yeah. All right, here we go. Classic card of the day. And it's a Cav. And it's a very famous Cav. Let's see if you guys know your Cleveland Cavaliers. And this guy is an all-star. This guy was a franchise player for the Cleveland Cavaliers. And if you know his name, you'll get it. He's still in broadcasting, but he doesn't broadcast for basketball, which is kind of interesting. His other passion is where he does TV broadcasting at this point. And that's right. Slug Deezy knows that is the great Brad Doherty, center for the Cavs in the 80s, alongside Mark Price, Ron Harper Sr., Steve Kerr, Craig Elo, Randolph Keys, Larry Nance Sr., Gerald Patio. Lots of old Cleveland Cavaliers that I remember from back in the day. John Hot Rod Williams. How about that, Cavs fans? You going to come in and check in with me? Yeah, there's your great Brad Doherty of North Carolina, and he is the classic card of the day. So I think this card is kind of difficult. Slug Deezy got it before Isaac and Stargate. I'm going to give 100 points for Brad Doherty today. The classic card of the day. It's always near the end of the stream. And you got to stay watching the whole show to get the classic card. All right, let me just write it in. And we'll put in, it's slugged easy again. 200 points for the classic card, slugged easy. There you go. Boom goes the dynamite. Brad Doherty, NASCAR. Yeah, he likes to call the racing now. He's very much into, he's really into he does NASCAR, but he's really into the funny car racing. Like he likes the long hot rod dragsters, the ones that have the parachute at the end. And he actually raced them himself. That's part of the interesting fun with Brad Doherty, is he liked to race them himself. So, yeah. All right, let's see. No birthday today, as I said, and that's it. We're done. All right, we're going to finish up. My stars of the game for last night's game, Scottie Barnes, RJ Barrett, Colin Murray Boils, Jamison Battle, and Jakob Poeltl. I gave the 5th star to Poeltl. All right, y'all. Thanks for watching me. I hope you enjoyed the game last night. And, man, what a fantastic job, Raptors. It's only going to get harder. So don't think because you figured this out it's easier. No, you got to go even harder on Sunday. And, well, we'll have the preview on Sunday morning. Programming note, the stream on Sunday morning is going to be extra early. In fact, I might start the stream at like 8:30 or 8 a.m., or maybe even earlier, because I got to get up and get to the game in time for 1 p.m. start. So we're going to have a very early stream on Sunday morning for Game 4 preview. So just a programming note real quick. All right, I'll see y'all tomorrow for our WNBA fantasy draft. Thanks for watching the Raptor Freak stream today. And let's go Raptors. Always keep hope. And honestly, even if you're an underdog and the odds are against you, you guys may be shocked how things can work out for you in certain ways. So always keep positive, optimistic hope. It's much better to be a glass is half full person than a glass is half empty. So think about that philosophy in your life and how you can invite more abundance into your life from having an open attitude towards success. And that's what the Raptors had last night. And people that maybe thought, they have no chance to beat them. Well, the people that had the opportunity in their head to think there is a chance that they could win, well, that's all you need is that sliver of belief. And you know what? Great things can happen. That's what I say to y'all today on this Friday after the Raptors win in the playoffs last night. All right, I'll see y'all tomorrow, 9:30 a.m. Let's go Raptors. Let's go Tempo. Let's go Team Canada basketball. And I'll see y'all tomorrow for our WNBA fantasy draft. Let's go Raptors.